chose correctly. There was a 50% chance. All right. I think I have everything
paper
now.
to take notes on.
Yes, I have my paper to take notes on. I have my pens.
That's my special book. And no, that's my other book.
Come on, Dumbledore's boyfriend? Me.
Who?
Dumbledore's
Who's
boyfriend?
Grindelwald?
Yeah.
That's gay.
Yes, he was gay.
Yep. Specifically.
And he was magical.
This is the old description of the island. No!
You don't have... You don't have...
Weird.
Ah.
You probably stole that from me too.
Another cantrip isn't available. Why?
You gave that one to me.
What cantrip?
Put your face full away. You gave that one to me because remember you tore out all the extra stuff.
Is it not available on Roll20 or D&D Beyond?
Roll20.
Like, when you click on it, it's not working?
Like when I click to choose my cantrips, it's not on the list.
Probably just because we don't have it.
It's more than likely because Roll20 is outdated. Either that or it's just using the basic spells.
Well, I don't think any of us own any books on Roll20, do we?
They don't have any books on Roll20.
Don't you have to buy that stuff, though?
I don't think you can even buy it. You have to add it by hand, I think. You were not ready for this.
Who wasn't?
Why? No!
I remembered it was Friday.
I'm proud of you, Taryn.
If we were playing D&D tonight. But...
Oh, I've made bad life choices.
Oops.
I keep thinking Adam's a barbarian.
Nope.
He is.
Nope.
No.
He's a
In
paladin.
his head.
He's a paladin. He's a very aggressive paladin. Yep. We have a paladin, a cleric, a druid, a fighter,
Wait,
and a barbarian. What?
You were the fighter.
I'm a fighter. But our barbarian is not here today.
We have a ranger?
Fighter.
Oh, I thought you said ranger before that, though.
I mean, technically I did.
He's just bad at talking.
Oh, okay.
I was a ranger for a day.
It's funny because it's true.
This is too big. This is simply too big. Hey, look, pencils. And mail. And a marble.
Why do I have 5 javelin?
No, wait. Right there. It's perfect.
Because that's what you wanted?
That was rude.
Quit putting shit on my desk!
Stop being so rude to me.
I need to go back to work, you guys.
Voter participation.
You going stir crazy?
Some
Yes.
That's a real day off. It's
I'm
a
on.
lot of work.
Mine!
These are mine.
No, you stole my pencils. I'm
That's
stealing yours.
absolutely not true. These are my pencils and you will never take them.
This is my pencil. I'm pretty sure both of those mechanical pencils over there are my
There are
pencils.
many other like it, but this
I
one
count
is
1,
mine.
2, 3, 4, 5
All
pens
of them
that
are
are
mine.
mine. At least.
Mine.
I'm so happy we're back on the pencils.
All
I told you guys I need to go back to work.
Let's start the recap.
Levy, he's gonna do your recap.
Huh?
Good. Let me know when you guys are all ready, and we'll start with the
Listening.
recap.
Kind of.
Are you ready for notes?
Ring.
Yeah, let's go. She's not going to pay any more attention than she is right now. So,
How are we doing, Kendra?
Just try to get the rest of my.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go back to the fire temple in Ocarina of Time. See ya.
What? Oh, you might do some of that.
Want a Snoop Punch, man? I got one. Snoop. What do you want, man?
No, motherfucker.
I want it all.
Yeah, there's 2 cantrips that aren't in
Yeah,
roll
let the
20.
dog sniff the lip microphone.
It's just customization. It'll be okay.
Sorry.
You spooked the dog.
Sorry. Mary,
Just
get
stop
that
snooping.
microphone.
Mary, what's this?
Get that microphone.
Mary.
What's that? What's that?
I think I have all my other ones though.
What's that?
She's done. She's like, nope, fuck you guys. Microphones are weird.
Oh, they only have 7.
Rude. Nice game controller you drew there.
Yeah, that was when I was thinking about whatever I was going to do for Ash's fidget toy. But I figured that would be a little too much. Too distracting for school.
Bottom that popper thing. I've never used it.
No. Well, it's because you liked the one that we had. I think you liked it because I would put the scented oil on it. That's a paper.
The only problem is that like I can add the rest of my spells, but it only gives me 1 choice of spell list. So I can't add the other spell because it's not under that spell list.
Oh, gotcha.
Could be under warlock. I don't know what.
Where's my D&D extension?
Nope, they do not have that. Becker.
Yeah, fuck. Oh, man, it's just unscrewed.
Remember when she used to just fucking shred paper?
Yep.
She's an asshole.
Yep.
The dog's an asshole.
You keep telling me these things that I already know, and I'm not sure why.
No, I'm just reminding you.
And so, for the sake of keeping Tony in things, I'm probably just gonna Jaeger pilot him.
We have to kill him.
He already said he's going to be in the baths.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Yeah.
Is that recent or?
No.
I mean,
Except from
yeah,
last time?
it's
No, and
from
I'm
after
the
pretty
group
sure
chat.
that led up to the wonderful moment of Val and Tony maintaining eye contact while Tony finished.
Not that chat.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But Tony said it on the phone.
Oh.
I don't remember.
Oh, did he reply then?
No, this was last time he was talking in the group chat. Like
Oh,
fucking
gotcha.
weeks ago.
So yeah, I'll Jaeger him for the time being, but he's probably going to be a little bit quiet.
Jägermeister Tony. Crap! Wrong button! I forgot how to edit my extensions. Fuck! Oh well. What? I don't know. It's recommended channels. I don't choose other people's names.
Oh my god, just calm down. God,
I'm gonna be
you're so
weird.
sensitive. Why are you so weird?
Couldn't figure out how to get my D&D extension back on. Oh, no.
Taser.
Oh, it is on. Oh, it is on. Hey,
I'll
I
set
have an
that up
echo.
someday. But not this day.
Oh, that's why.
Okay, whatever.
Now, how do I edit that fucking extension? I mean, do you stream your D&D campaigns?
No.
Then you don't really need it.
I mostly just meant so I could click on stuff on my Roll20 and...
Oh no, I'm talking. So on my Twitch streams, it shows our character profiles like it does for Critical Role.
Oh, gotcha.
Different extension. But I'm not good at Twitch. Go to stream manager.
I'm a fucking genius.
Remember that? Hey, now it's here.
Lovecraftian horror.
Add to channel. What the fuck? Configure. There we go.
It's from last summer, right?
Yeah. We're in New Beginnings. Save.
Oh my gosh, Misery is Mystique. Mystique with a belly button.
Yeah. Yep.
She's all naked, but with none of the parts.
Yeah, I was lazy.
Oh, where'd my kitty go?
I have a rough sketch of my character, but that's it.
I don't draw.
Throw it up there. Or you can be Saitama if you really want to. But...
I can draw you. I don't remember who your guy was.
I'm a half elf that shoots a gun. Or I'm a whole elf, aren't I? No, Pat. Yeah. I'm a high elf.
You're a high holy half elf?
I think. I don't remember who my deity was. Oh yeah. Adria Fade. I don't know.
Alright, Mr. Map, you go back over there. It's the map, it's the map, it's the map, it's the map.
How does say that? How does say that name?
Say what?
How does say that
Airdrie.
name? Airdrie?
Yeah, Airdrie. Airdrie.
Airdrie.
Fenia.
I hate this fucking cord.
Wow.
Stay where I put it.
Oh, get a twist tie. Dongle. Get a bunch of. We have an entire kitchen drawer full of twist ties.
I have 30 cord keepers in my
Do that then. Why are
No,
you complaining if you already know
If
how to
you
do
let me
it?
finish a goddamn sentence for
Never.
once, they are still in my cart
You
for
know
wish.
I'm anti-finishing
I'm gonna
sentences.
Pour that drink out on your laptop.
I'm gonna make a sign.
At least they're not talking about
Sentences
pencils
shall
anymore.
not be finished. Protest. Got nothing better to do right now.
Protests are strictly against the law right now.
Nothing better to do.
I mean, I guess if you're the only one protesting, you'd probably
Yep.
be alright. As long as there's not 10 people.
Chalk and make 6-foot circles and stand in the middle.
Whoa, my screen's got fucked up. I hate this! Can't ever line these fucking screens up.
It never lets you do anything.
Shut up, still.
Dash 2 now, don't worry. I'm so glad Isaac is
Isaac would still be awake. Still might still be
Isaac
awake.
wouldn't be screaming that we don't let him do anything.
It's true. He'd just be pouting and crying. Here, I got you a potion.
Cute as balls! Mana potion?
Snape's potion.
Poke my eyeball out with it.
Potion of non-sight. Makes you go blind.
Oh,
I was joking.
didn't have to drink it for that.
Exactly. Oh my
Super
god.
efficient.
Are we ready? I don't know what we're doing anymore.
Waiting on you and Kendra.
I said I was ready.
I'm ready.
She's never ready. She won't ever pay attention anyway,
The
so
potion.
I don't know why she asked for a recap. You.
I forgot how to add
Oh.
a picture and
Oh,
Just gonna open up a bunch of the same.
Go into your character sheet.
Yeah.
And then edit, I
Top
do
right
believe.
box.
And then click to upload in the avatar,
Hard
top left
game.
corner.
That's twice in a row Brian got chosen.
I won again?
Yep.
Oh, it hasn't updated yet.
Ooh. I like how all three of us play tieflings a lot, and all three of us have different tiefling horn styles.
Does mine show up?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
I like them ram's horns or the impala horns. Wow, we're back to the dwarf. Where'd the naked tiefling go?
Not on there.
I still see it.
Hey.
I probably just got kicked off of Twitch forever.
Why?
So I pulled that picture up for a second.
She's not naked. She doesn't have them bits.
True.
And
There's
you're
no nipples,
wrong.
so it's not
I'm
against
that
the rules.
fucking lazy.
Yeah, it's just like watching X-Men.
Yep. It's like PG-13,
Alright.
right?
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kendra, you're gonna have a little bit here anyway, because we're not quite to where you'll be picked up. We're almost there.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Aww. Fucking adorable. Alright. So the recap we have from last week, you guys...
Why did you throw at me?
You guys had just finished the job of going out to those windmills way up on the southern or western part of Port Rita Vista. And you had cleared out the spider problem, you assessed the damage. If you remember, you had cute little Rasp with you. The kobold you rescued from the caves to when you eradicated the kobold infestation. You were rewarded and you made some gold, you got a level, and you won Old Hal's approval. And he had tipped you off for another quest, and that was to escort a bit of goods and from across the sea for a little bit, and to join up with a ship that would be visiting port in a couple days. He hired you on contract for another man, a dwarven fellow by the name of Gruden Rockseeker. And you were hired to make sure his supplies arrived on the island of Phandalin.
Are you listening? This
No.
is what you asked for.
There was something about a boat.
The island of
Moving to Ohio.
the island of Phandalin.
I'm gonna live with Karen.
Ew. Why Ohio? That's awful.
Closer than Texas.
We good?
No.
Yeah, keep going.
Alright, we're hired on contract from a dwarven fellow by the name of Gundren. There we go. Holy crap, letters are hard. Gundren Rockseeker. To ensure that his goods made it from Port Rita Vista, and they made it to the island, and then from the beach to the city of Phandalin, where you would meet with him and his brothers, and make sure that deliver their supplies. There was rumors that the supplies hadn't been making it to the city from the beach, so that's the main reason that you were hired. And then you were given a couple days until the boat in question would arrive. With that couple days, each of you did a couple different things. Adam, if I remember correctly, you just wanted to be brooding and sulky and wait a bit because old Hal had dropped a tidbit about hearing something about bugbears in connection with the city of Phandalin, or at least being in the area. He had rumors coming back from that way that there had been bugbears sighted there.
Bugbears.
Bugbear.
Grownet, our orc barbarian friend, you spent your 2 days scouring over the rock and investigating this strange new rock, or not new rock, but this strange rock in this that you weren't altogether familiar with, since he's a big rock carver. Misery, if I remember correctly, you just told me you wanted to follow None around and
What?
just watch what he was doing. I don't really remember anything besides that. Maybe spend time with the ocean.
Follow who around?
None.
Me. What? I was working with the blacksmith.
Yeah, and None, you spent a couple days working with the blacksmith. You were just helping him build some little odds and ends because that's about all he trusted you with.
That's fair. I built guns.
So go ahead and add like 5 silver to your inventory. I'll say that was 2 days worth of labor for you. And at the end of the 2 days, so we're gonna basically pick up like on the boat. But so you guys were out and about in the small port city of Rita Vista for the 2 days before you made the, what is the boat called again? Shit. Before the Gull's Wings made port.
Who's Millie?
Millie?
Yep.
Millie was the assistant to Old Hal.
Okay.
I believe she was a halfling woman.
That's a weird note to have. Okay.
What did it say? Anything in particular? Or?
It says no eye contact. That's all I wrote.
Okay.
Okay. I'm pretty sure old Millie is the, like, or Millie is old Hal's assistant. I don't know why the no eye contact thing. That it's been like a year. I apologize.
So we are.
No, maybe that isn't. That's Very who's the assistant. Who the hell's Millie? Oh, Millie! Let me go back. I'm pretty sure I know who Millie is. And the reason you wrote no eye contact, but let me double check before I say it.
It should be.
Yes, Millie is the poor half-elf barmaid or innkeeper who you traumatized.
Oh, yes. That's right. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, did she walk in?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep, she just kind of, unfortunately,
Oh,
witnessed
no.
the whole thing happen. Well, not the whole thing, mostly just the end, which was the traumatic part.
Yeah.
All right, so on the second, about the second day at about 10 o'clock, the sun isn't quite to its highest point yet. A narrow 125 brigantine-styled ship is seen approaching into port. What's unique about this one, and you can tell from a distance, though much of the detail of the boat isn't quite clear yet, is that instead of a single straight mast up and down, it has 2 masts that seem to stick out 45 degrees from it, and they kind of have a wide diamond-shaped sails, which, and the namesake, you were told it was called the Gull's Wing, and you figured that this is probably why it was called that. And as it gets closer,
I'm trying to listen.
if you've seen the boat or the Jackdaw from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, very similar style to that. Long, narrow, built for speed. It has a large gull's head for its figurehead. It looks like it's kept in relatively good compare, and as it pulls up to the dock, are you guys planning on waiting for it, or are you gonna make your way down once it's there?
I'm just gonna be waiting for it.
Yeah, I'll be down at the docks waiting for it as well.
So then, as it approaches the dock, a taller, what you assume half-elf woman stands at Let me actually see how I want to do this.
I kill her. I'm bored.
All right. As the boat approaches, and pulls up to dock. What's everybody's passive perception? Quick.
I think mine's 12. Yep, 12. Or
13.
No, 10. Sorry.
Mine's 13.
All right. And Groundnut, who's the one I need to be watching, his is 14. All right. So you all notice this. So as the boat pulls up, and you can see the various members of the crew rushing about and throwing ropes to people on the docks, where the dock workers are rushing up to grab and moor this boat up. You are initially shocked, or not shocked, but you initially see this broad smile, missing one tooth on the right side, but she's still face turned up in a huge grin, blonde hair blowing in the wind. Who you initially assume is a half-elf woman. But as the dock or boat bumps into the dock and you look at her, you realize you can see this woman's knees above the railing. And it takes a second, but you realize that she's a halfling and she's not standing on the railing, but that she's standing taller than the railing. And all of a sudden, with a big flourish or shove she reaches up, grabs her hat, and flips over, and she lands. And she's probably standing on a pair of 2 feet high stick stilts that are just coming out of her little sandals. Well, hello. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Has anybody seen old Hal? I would love to talk with that old bastard. We have some catching up to do. The name is Captain Arena, and if you will, I'll be on my way. And she starts to make her way down with a little...
How do you spell that?
Reena. Yeah, and she does not seem to have any problem at all on these stilts. She's just second nature walking down this dock and away from you.
I stare after her for a second, just slightly in shock, and then just shrug and follow her onto the ship.
The gangplank isn't quite down yet, but you see a bald human man, white mustache. He looks like he spent the majority of his life on the water. His skin just baked, deep wrinkles. He's lowering the thing with the help of a dark-haired dwarven fellow, and they lower it down. And well, hello there. What can we do for you?
You're here to take us to Phandalin?
Yeah, Phandalin. Phandalin. Yeah, Phandalin. Is that so then? I didn't know we were taking on more passengers.
Well, now you are.
Don't you remember? Don't you remember, Dino? The captain said we'd be picking up some more people for old Rock Seekers expedition. Oh, that's right. All right. So are you the lot then?
That'd be us.
All right. Well, we'll be here for a couple hours when we stock up, but feel free to come aboard and bring your stuff. The other one's already here.
The other one?
We'll Hi, there's another member of that had already been hired at a previous port. She's been with us for a couple of days.
You said she's already on board?
Aye. But feel free to make your way. Rooms are down below. There isn't anything fancy. Go down the stairs. Second door on your left. Lady, Tiefling, you're on the right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on the right?
Yep.
I was not.
Yep.
I'm trying to pick my fills.
Pick them faster.
Druids are hard.
Lord, get that same voice used back at me.
and as you guys make your way up onto the boat and, start going down to where he told you could steer yourself, there's a, the crew or the deck of the ship is very well maintained. It looks like it's cleaned regularly. Like, this seems to be a very nice ship. And you guys have been in the port long enough that you kind of have developed an eye for, ships, or at least a cursory glance. And this one does seem cleaner. It seems like the crew itself is even a little bit cleaner. Like, they take a lot more pride in what they do. And you also notice that they're all kind of wearing brighter colors than a lot of the other ships. Like, they seem very, very, loud and proud about themselves.
I like these people.
They're loud. They're proud. Get used to it.
But yeah, so you guys make your way down below deck, and more, it's a standard ship. There isn't a lot fancy. The sails seem to be about the fanciest part of the thing. It's just, there's two rooms. The one on the left where it seems like the male passengers are kept, and the one on the right, there's just a bunch of hammocks strung across, no real beds. There's a couple topless crates for things that you can set in. And that's where you find yourself. And Misery, actually, let me make sure I get the name right. Oriana?
Oren?
Oren? Is that how you say your name? Oren?
Oren Laverne.
Okay, Oren. Oren, where would you be while this is all happening?
Okay, so we're on a boat.
Yep.
I'm on a boat.
The boat just arrived at dock. Like, it's only been at dock for, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, and I'm just like, am I on this boat or I'm getting on this boat?
You have been on this boat for a couple days. You were hired on at a different port to do what these guys have just been hired to do.
I'd be in whatever room was assigned to me, playing my lyre.
All right. So then, as you, Nun, and Misery make your way down, you and Adam both take your left into the room, and you can hear, some music coming from across the hall. And Misery, as you walk into the room, Kendra, do you care to explain or tell us what you look like so Misery knows what she's seeing?
So, I am... Let me look at my description because I don't remember. A pretty average height, pale red skin tiefling with this dark gray hair that goes down to my lower back. My eyes are all black. I'm just sitting with my legs crossed, playing a lyre, humming to myself.
So,
Wearing pretty simple leather armor with, God, what am I wearing? God, I haven't looked at this in a while. I want to say I was wearing a cloak or something of the sort. It's like a rusty red color, something rust red though. That's me.
All right. Anything you'd like to say when Misery walks in, or vice versa?
Bonjour. I'm trying to think of how I'm doing my accent. Shit. I didn't think going back to a French accent would be so damn hard.
Sacre bleu!
Yeah, you can do it. I believe in you.
I believe in me too.
Yeah, that sounded good.
Shit, what do I say? And she's a tiefling too, yeah?
Yeah, as the tieflings stare at each other in awkward silence.
I blink a few times, and I'll set my lyre down and... Oh! Am I in your room?
I was told that this was my room.
Oh, well, then I guess we share a room. I'm Oren.
Are you male or female?
Female.
Okay. Carry on.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh,
Your name?
my name is Misery. It's a pleasure as well.
Misery.
And then I just sit down on my bed and be awkwardly quiet.
I'm
Give
gonna
me a dexterity roll.
pluck on my lyre while I'm just looking at her, not really sure what to say.
Make
at
a
this point.
dexterity roll.
Yes, I would like a dexterity save out of you, please, Misery.
Oh,
You're just gonna plop down into a hammock.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he's got a
thought we
point.
had like the fold down cots.
Oh no. I said that they were
Alright.
all hammocks.
A dexterity save.
Yep, dexterity save.
So have Nun and I heard them
Do
speaking, so we know Misery's talking to somebody?
You,
Is
I
my
mean,
finger turned
you
on?
said your perception is what, a 10 and a 14?
Mine is a 10, yeah.
13.
And you don't.
13? You know, the doors are open. Yeah, you can probably, both of you can probably hear low muffled talking. You can't make out what anybody's saying, but you know that Misery's talking to somebody.
I glance in. Great, there's 2 of them now. And I turn and walk to my room.
There's 2 women. What? Oh yes. Just gonna continue plucking. Little confused by the stranger.
We're not in there.
So from your
Tring, tring, tring.
how do you say your name again?
Oren.
Oren. Yeah. So Oren, you know watched it as 15. All right. So
Damn, I was hoping you'd fail.
you plop into this hammock and it swings wildly. Like you're maybe a little distracted. So there's a little bit of spinning, or swinging, but you manage to like steady yourself and it goes okay. As about the time that Adam sticks his head in and you hear, oh great, there's another one. Then disappears and you see a very confused looking, but from your perspective, Oren, you kind of just see this massive half burnt, like the left side, or is it the left or the right?
Right, I think.
Massive
picture it's
Goliath
left.
head stick. Well, it's right if you look at it from the way he's
Yep.
looking. But this massive Goliath head, that the entire right side from about the nose over is just a massive burn scar. Sticks his head in, says as he says, and then disappears from sight. If you've seen a Goliath before, if not, just this massive 8-foot-high face appears.
My face is 8 feet. Holy shit.
Well, aren't you 8 feet tall?
7.5, but yeah.
Okay. I meant
But you
like
said
8 feet
8
off
foot
the ground, but you're right. Yep,
Yeah.
I gotcha. He's all face.
He's one giant head that just bounces.
You don't need a door. I am the door.
Do you know that brute,
He's talking to you.
Misery?
Yep. Don't ask me his name right now. That was a Dom, right?
His name is Ham.
Adam.
It's
Adam.
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 Oh, Ham.
Adam.
Barely. I barely know him.
Oh.
You guys were all, if you, for the sake of the group, as I'm pretty sure that none remembers, but for the sake of Misery's memory, they've known each other for about 5 days now after Misery, None, and Groundnut got her out of prison, or got Adam out of prison.
Oh, that's right. That's where he came from.
But I don't know he was in
You do
prison.
not know that yet.
Okay.
So Groundnut's gonna shut his stuff down, and then he's gonna poke his head in to see what Adam was talking about. Oh well, hello there. All settled in, Misery, and oh, would you look at that? You have a friend.
I wave. Oren,
Hi, Groundnut Cruncher at your service.
a pleasure.
Do you drink tea?
Oh,
Forgot about this.
yes.
What's your favorite flavor?
I do enjoy a good chamomile before sleeping.
Ah, chamomile. Good choice. I might have some of that. I can't remember though. Let me go look. and this orc face disappears from the door.
Au revoir.
Not anything in particular you'd like to do, or
No, I just go set my stuff down and roll into my hammock.
all right. And since you roll in, and that is the correct terminology, we will not make you roll dexterity save.
I'm gonna make a note to remember that.
All right. So, a little bit of time passes. You can hear the crew rushing above you as they take on new supplies and load and restock. Occasionally, a figure will pass by you in the hallway, and it's probably about an hour or so later, and all of a sudden you hear, even down in the lower deck of the ship where you guys are in your rooms, you can hear the very faint patink as two wooden object strikes roughly against the deck above you, and then you can hear the click, 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 click of what you assume is the wooden stilts of the captain. And you can hear him come down the stairs and around, growing louder, and all of a sudden, a blonde halfling face with just wavy blonde hair cascading down behind her, kept up in a red kerchief, sticks her head into your door with you, Misery, and
Orin.
Orin. Sorry, it's gonna take a little bit.
That's okay.
Orin. And you notice now that you're close enough that she has, one bright blue eye, one bright my note is not is blank. What? One bright blue eye and one bright green eye, and then she seems to be wearing vibrant reds and oranges and yellows. She's kind of like a veritable sunset in halfling form, standing probably almost 6 feet tall with her stilts, and she smiles warmly at you and. It is a pleasure to have you aboard. I hear that you will be a part of the group joining us. If you could adjourn to this other room, though, so I can speak with all of you at once, that would be wonderful. She ushers you across the hall.
Yeah, I follow.
Well,
I'm leaving my lyre.
I hear that you four are my new recruits that are helping with the Good and Rockseeker quest, and that is... Thank you very much. I'm sure he'll enjoy that. But for the time being, you will be aboard the Gull's Wing, which means you are in my world, and I run a tight ship. I won't lie to you. I expect a lot. Follow the rules, which are simple. Stay out of my way, stay out of the crew's way, mind your manners, don't steal from us. And above all else, try to enjoy it, especially if you haven't been on the boat before. And if you're gonna puke in a bucket or off the side of the ship. I don't want to have to make you mop it up. Sound like everybody can follow those rules?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe we can.
And one of the more unofficial rules, if you're gonna die, make sure you do it overboard. Thank you, nobody wants to clean up a corpse. It'll take about 2 days to arrive at the island of Phandalin, and I look forward to sailing with you. Ship's kitchen is in the back of the boat. Take a left to go out of the door, opposite of the stairs, down and back. Otherwise, feel free to go about the boat as you like. Stay away from the cannons, please.
Cannons?
There's cannons.
Yes, the large metal things that shoot metal balls. Please do not touch them. Our ship gunner is very protective. She kind of looks you guys over a little bit, like she was expecting some kind of conversation.
I'm just nodding.
Shrugs.
Orin is just nodding. Like,
all right.
yes.
She nods towards you. Well, thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to come to me and ask me as you will. Otherwise, the bald, white-haired, mustached man, human man upstairs, is my first mate. His name is Deno, and he can help you as well. Thank you. She turns around and click, 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 clicks away up towards the top. All right. And is there anything you guys would like to do before you set sail, or shall we set sail?
None's good to
I'm
go.
going to walk up top and just, look around, see if I spot any cannons.
No, there are no cannons up on the top or up on the main deck.
Damn it. I go back to my room.
You go back down?
Yeah, I go back to my room.
All right. Give me a perception check as you're walking back to your room.
Yay.
You almost fail to find the door to your room and are so preoccupied in remembering which one it was that you do not happen to look any farther down the hall.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah,
What were you doing?
just walking around.
Okay, yeah, just checking.
What were you doing?
I haven't left my hammock.
Okay, yeah. Just checking.
So right before we set sail, I want to be up on the deck watching like them set off.
All right. So, Orn, not Orn, Orna?
Orin.
Orin. I'm going to write that down quick. Okay. Orin. So as you go up and you try to find a spot out of the way, you see the dock workers rushing about, untying ropes and tossing them up, and the crew of the Gull's Wing is very efficient and they move quick. They catch the ropes, they're pulling them up, they're rolling, wrapping. The captain is up at the wheel. She's 9 kinds of sails to the wind, turning the wheel as large poles are brought out and they kind of get the boat a little bit away, and the tide starts to pull it back and out and makes its way around, and it's kind of a veritable form of controlled chaos as the boat turns, the crew rushing to and fro, pulling ropes, readying sails, and the sails begin to drop as the boat quarters away. The sails begin to fill with wind, and the boat you feel the tug as the boat underneath you lurches forward a little bit, and it comes out wide. Meanwhile, the captain, just hair streaming in the wind as she throws this wheel in this kind of weird dance where you can tell that the stilts probably don't help her keep control of the wheel, but she seems to make it work as she kind of jigs around while she throws the wheel one way and then the other, and then the boat rights itself and you're away and out. At full clip, the sails drop and you guys find yourselves back on the open sea. For some of you, the visit to Port Rita Vista only lasted a couple hours, and for the rest of you, it was a place where you met some new friends or potential friends, and spent a couple days enjoying or in prison for a couple weeks.
I'll make my way back down to my room.
Is Adam still in the room with me?
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
You ever actually tell us how you ended up in that jail cell?
Don't think so.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I'm indifferent.
None, give me an intelligence roll.
What is your name?
None.
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 N-O-N-E.
Yep. Fuck, mine got turned off too. Hold on. My extension got turned off.
Yeah, it's okay.
Who is Gronet?
Character is not.
Gronet is the orc.
Character
Yeah, that was Tony's character.
No,
Who's
it's my
going to pop in
smartphone
and out
happens
as
to.
I find him convenient. Gronet is currently just, happily looking through his bag and
Masturbating into the tea.
studying a small rock that he brought from the island. All right, no, you do not remember old Hal telling you why Adam was in prison.
But I suppose I'm bored. Was looking for a mage and I may have got a bit carried away.
I was gonna say, do you remember why you were in prison, Adam?
Maybe? Wasn't it? I was looking for a mage and like threw a tantrum and
Yeah. Okay. So Adam, you were looking for the mage, and your trail led here, or at least through here. This was one of the stops on your way through, and there had been a pirate attack a couple hours before you made your way into town because you, if I remember correctly, what we talked about in an ill-advised situation, rented a small fishing boat and attempted to sail to Puerto Vista on your own.
that sounds alright.
And you lost the boat and ended up swimming the last hour of the trip.
I found my notes.
So you essentially kind of washed up shortly after a pirate attack, and being a large fire-burned Goliath did not exactly put the natives at ease.
Yeah, that's right.
And you kind of flew off the handle when talking, being interrogated by old Hal to make sure you weren't a pirate. And the two of you got into a very loud shouting match. So you were essentially arrested because they assumed you were just a pirate. Really, it was just you pissed off old Hal, so he used it as an excuse to throw you in there, and then kind of forgot you were in there. Until the group showed up and asked about any help, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I got a guy."
Val owes me 2 gold.
I relay all that to none.
I have Val owes me 2 gold in my notes.
Thank you for sharing.
Look.
Well, you asked. So, you shoot things?
I saw Adam, but I didn't get a description. Or no, I got a description.
You didn't get one of ground up. I don't remember what ground up looks like off the top of my head, so.
There's the ugly bastard.
Okay, that's Adam. What is none?
You haven't seen him yet.
I haven't seen him yet. That's right. Okay, we're good.
That's a bam.
I'm just trying to make notes of what you people fucking look like, so I'm not mixing things.
Yeah, no, understood. But all right, so I'm assuming that since Val's not answering, none just ignored you, Adam.
Sorry, what did he say?
Yeah, I was just doing it. I just did that because nobody was saying anything. I didn't realize Kendra was about to.
Yeah, I know how to work a gun.
Cool.
Did
Know how to work a cannon?
dog?
Do I know how to work a cannon?
Yeah.
You point it and you light it.
Don't teach him.
You want to go find the cannon?
He's stupid.
Would I know where the cannons are on a ship?
You'd assume that they're probably below the deck and on the ship.
How many decks is this ship?
Your guys' big bid to explore the vast majority of your bedrooms and nothing else. You've only seen a very, the first, of a 125-foot boat, you've seen about 28 feet of the below deck after the staircase.
Sure, I'll help you find the cannons.
Sweet.
What time of day was it?
It was about 10 o'clock when the boat arrived. It took him a couple hours to resupply, restock. It's probably... The sun is just past the highest point, maybe an hour or so, so 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Me and None go look for cannons.
All right. So you guys go out and going the opposite way of the steps, walk past down the hallway a little bit, and the ship is really narrow here. You come down off the stairs, and it's a narrow little walkway with the doors right there, and then you get past those rooms, and it opens up wide, and you can see the sides, and there's 3 cannons on each side spaced out. There's cannonballs and powder. The powder barrels are arrayed nearby each cannon, and there's some netting and some cargo stuff in the middle here and there, and on the far end you can see, more walls appear and a door that leads to another set, and then you think you can see another staircase at the far end, but you're not sure.
I'm going to go over to the gunpowder. Well, first of all, is there anybody in here? Besides
Give me a perception check.
Ouch.
14.
You glance around, and I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say she's not really trying to hide that hard. You notice near the far end, kind of watching you, not like with angrily or hostilely, but just like she's keeping an eye on you. A cinnamon-skinned woman wearing tight-fitting black leather vest and matching pants, kind of like they're almost armor. She's got a cutlass hanging at her side, large gold hoop earrings, and her darker brown hair pulled back in dreads, tied up in a tight ponytail.
I throw a javelin at her.
At her?
No, I'm kidding. Just
good.
wave. Just looking for the bathroom.
That would be the side of the ship.
But for number 2?
You can swim, can't you? But if you fall in, just catch up to the ship.
I don't think that's physically possible, but sure, I'll give that a try.
No, if you're looking for that, it's go back to the staircase behind you, just behind it. There's the door that leads under the staircase, and that's where it is.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Rude.
So I assume Misery's in the room with me. Oh.
You still in the room?
She must.
Yes, she is.
She found your lyre.
You better not touch my lyre.
Touch the lyre.
Don't touch the lyre. I have the lyre. I am rolling into my hammock now that I'm.
And you've had a couple days of practice at this, so you're, a little
I've
bit
been
more
on
graceful.
boats for most of my journey.
Yeah, so you're getting used to it.
I am proficient in rolling into a hammock.
And you've got a decent dexterity, so yeah, you've got this pretty much figured out.
That's all I have is dexterity.
So I'll kind of pluck at my lyre again. Lost my train of thought. Pop.
Choo-choo!
Shh. It's derailed. Okay. Do
that better?
you play an instrument? Misery? Missouri is how I would probably say it. Missouri?
I've been there.
Missouri?
No, I don't. You have the microphone. You're hogging the microphone.
You have your own.
Punch him in the dick.
If I put my own up, we would have an echo. And then you'd want to use yours. Fancy schmancy.
I traded here
That one costs more.
Pokemon, and it became 100%.
No, I don't play anything.
Is that a wild Tarek I hear?
I don't think it was Tarek. Maybe it was. I don't know. I wasn't touched. I was trying to listen to Misery.
I think he said he traded Tarek a Pokemon, so I don't think it's Tarek.
I don't need your
Joe?
suit. Thank you.
Alright, no, that was Dad, not Tarek.
I thought so.
Because we have 2 computers in here. You're gonna open it now that you guys aren't watching TV.
What are those noises?
That's
Tarek,
Tarek.
calm down, buddy. It's lewd. Lewd noises.
This is worse than the old apartment computer room.
No, it's not even close.
Oh, it's pretty
You
bad.
it compared to here.
Hi,
compared
Tim.
To here.
I'm sure
He's
you okay with that?
What?
We have a guest
Yes,
here.
just take your hoodie and your sweatpants off. Put shorts on and a t-shirt.
God. Tarek is me and you are Jer right now. I'm so high. You're wearing like 20 layers of clothing.
That doesn't help.
I don't want to take them off. Anyways.
All right. So, sorry to interrupt you too.
That's fine. What do you do for fun?
I like to be outside.
You trapped in a boat.
I as well.
I am trapped on a boat. That's one of my things, is that I don't like being separated from nature.
I love the outdoors. Traveling. Exploring new places.
Yes, it's quite wonderful, isn't it?
I think we will get along.
Perhaps.
You say that now.
Damn.
I have super high charisma, but I'm like super cold to people.
I have super high charisma, and I just want to be in everybody's business.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We're gonna get along smashingly.
You're one of
This will
those
be
tieflings.
Great. This is out of my personal comfort zone.
This isn't who I actually am.
This isn't who I am.
That's why I always make my characters into dicks.
Yeah, that fits you pretty well.
Don't like putting in effort. Oh. Sick burn, Taryn.
Hey, thank you.
What'd you say?
I said because they
Nothing.
are what they eat.
Nothing.
It's
Why did you tell him?
not funny to insult people if they don't hear you.
Yeah, you gotta
Maybe
watch
they should
the
pay attention.
disappointment and depression on their face.
No, to combat that, you just agree, and then they stop saying shit about you because it's no longer fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
no,
that's
it
worked
didn't work in high
many
school.
times with me.
It doesn't work with you, Taryn, because you know I'm just pretending.
Yeah.
Tell Brian that it didn't work in high school because his friends were dicks.
We were the nicest people to Brian in high school.
Which is actually really depressing.
This is true.
Oh.
We only locked him in a locker once.
Oh.
And I got into the locker myself.
I was gonna say he put himself in the locker for the record.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation before.
But
We took advantage of the situation.
me and Taryn are the ones that got in trouble for it.
What did you think was gonna happen?
Fuck, if I care. I spent most of my high school career in trouble.
It's not my fault I forgot the combination.
Like, what?
This is also true.
My beer hit my foot?
Can't say I've ever been locked into a locker before. Our lockers weren't big enough.
We weren't sure ours were either.
Like, we had the half and half ones.
Oh, you had... Ooh.
So, like, cubby
No, we had the floor to like 6 feet tall ones.
Nope, we did not.
This was a gym locker,
Into the locker ones.
if that makes a difference.
Oh, no, our gym lockers are the same way.
Our gym lockers were halves.
Stacked gym lockers, and then there's some that
How the
were
fuck did I
taller.
fit in that?
No,
The
we
ones
had...
on the walls weren't.
Yeah, the ones, yeah, the
Oh.
exterior walls were full lockers.
I always had middle lockers. So.
Because whoever was in sports got the big ones on the wall so you could fit all your stuff.
Yeah, no, that was not my school.
Not us.
Slightly jealous.
Loser.
Yeah.
Me and Taryn were frequently in sports. Up until our junior year. Sophomore year.
I would have been if I didn't get detention so much.
Never got detention, but I've been in school suspension a couple times.
And I was still in sports throughout all of it. It was just mostly track and cross country.
Oh, that's right. You switched to the dark side at the end.
Yeah.
Well, we had to work our sports around the theater department, so.
And those ones were easier to work around than football and wrestling.
most of the drama kids were in.
Anyways,
track and
we're on a boat.
All right. So
I'm
you guys
on a
are
boat.
And judging by how much exploring of the boat you guys have done so far, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and assume that you spend the majority of the first day in your hammocks or just in your rooms.
None. Once we're
Venture
out,
to the upper deck.
I say, yeah. Once we're out, like open water and moving, I would go up to the deck and look around.
And enjoy your surroundings.
I'm gonna find
I'll find food.
I want to find a deckhand.
Okay.
Oh my god, you're gonna bug the deckhand.
I'm gonna eat the deckhand.
What's wrong with you?
Are you propositioning a deckhand?
No.
Soliciting a
I would
deckhand,
like
or-
to find a young boy.
Ah.
They got the joke.
Vox Machina throwback right there.
You spend a great deal of
Just going
time
for the
searching
feel.
the ship, and the closest thing you find to a young boy is a dwarven male.
I mean, close enough.
Big, black, bushy beard, probably in his, middle years.
Young
Oh.
boy.
Young boy, come here. Hello, sir.
What can I do for you?
I was just wondering what the policy was for passengers in the crow's nest.
He kind of looks at you for a second and seems to think about it. Well, I suppose it would be okay. The weather's pretty nice. Just don't fall out of it.
Thank you, sir. And I climbed the
Yeah.
crow's nest.
If you fall out of it, it wasn't my idea. I said no.
I understand.
And he kind of sidles over to a different part of the ship and looks away from the crow's nest.
I go and climb the crow's nest.
All right, you've got a pretty decent dexterity and constitution, if I remember.
Pretty sure it's 18. Nope. Yeah, 18.
Oh yeah, no, you climb up that, no problem.
I did grow up in the mountains.
Yeah, so you shoot up to the top of this crow's nest, and now you have a bird's eye view of water as far as the eye can see, and distantly behind you, a little bit of a grayish bump on the back horizon that you're pretty sure is the port of Rita Vista.
Are there any seabirds?
Yeah, there's a lot of gulls and other various white-winged birds that are kind of circling the boat, but they're starting to thin out. Only the farther seabirds are, and a lot of them seem to be wheeling back around and making their way towards the island.
Just lay it flat and set some stuff in.
Target practice. Oh wait, are any of them within 80 feet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Does a 20 hit the bird?
You're so lucky I'm not watching you.
Yes, a 20 hits the bird.
I shoot the bird.
Huh. Roll damage?
I had to find my D10. Hold on.
Oh god, you have a gun, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, this should be entertaining.
I don't know if I have a D10. I'll have to roll damage and roll 20. Wait, 1d10
How do you
plus
buy a
4.
set of dice that doesn't come with a D10?
I don't know. I mean, I gotta keep looking. I just want to get this done.
It's the UFO-shaped one.
So it'll be
Like a round diamond.
11. Oh, yeah, that would be the 0. Okay, I found it.
All right. So to set this kill, we have to do a little bit of set the scene a little bit. So the majority of you are either whether you're on deck or below deck, enjoying the peace and solitude and the gentle rocking of the waves as the boat moves across.
This is the pepper box. This is not a rifle anymore.
The crew blissfully going about their day, just all's normal. The sky is clear. The air is clean. The wind is gentle. And okay, it's the pepper box, so it's not as bad as it could be. But all of a sudden, there's this. Even you below deck hear this loud popping noise, which for those of you above deck is more like a small clap of thunder. Not so much surprising for how loud it is, but how suddenly out of nowhere it comes. You hear a lot of so. None, you take aim at this winged rat that you've got in your sights, and you squeeze the trigger, and it's a beautiful shot. It soars, it clips, and this bird just explodes into this mist of red and white feathers everywhere. And below you, as you shoot, that self-satisfaction of kind of knowing where the shot was going to go before it happens, the bird pops, and you hear swearing and yelling below you, and startled, "What the fuck was that? What's going on? Was that a cannon shot? No, I don't know. I don't see anything."
I hide.
Are any of the party on the deck right now?
If I was in my room, would I have heard that?
Yes, you guys hear what probably, think about like a firework that happens a block or two over in town where it's
I'm
like
gonna book it up to the deck. I want to see what the hell's going on.
Or wait, what did you use this in our last fight?
You guys would probably recognize the
I
sound.
would have recognized it.
I was gonna say, it might.
I don't.
I'm
gonna hop my ass up, lyre in hand, and I'm booking it to the deck.
No, I still come running because I think maybe there's a fight.
All right. Yep. Groundnut follows you guys up as you all quickly are looking around. There's still yells of, "Are we under attack? Should we ready the cannons? All hands to battle!" And people are looking around now. And who's up in the crow's nest? What the hell was that?
Target practice.
Would you please come down?
I slowly climb down the crow's nest.
Yeah, so those of you in the party, you watch as Nun slowly comes down. And for those of you who fought with Nun before, you realize what happened. Nun, as you get to the bottom, there's this blonde, I wouldn't say angry looking, but stern looking halfling woman, Captain. Captain Rena's waiting for you, just. So, care to explain to me what that was? Target practice, was it?
Yes, Captain. Gotta keep my aim sharp.
So, with no warning and nary a word on the contrary, you startled everyone half to death, really? Do you remember rule number 2?
No. I don't, Captain, actually.
Hand it over.
Excuse me?
Hand it over. You can have it when we get to port.
Alright, as long as you're not going to throw it overboard.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I should do... No, I'm just kidding. I'll give it back.
Alright, I hand her the pepper box.
I understand, and don't get me wrong, I hate those winged little rats as much as the next person. I mean, I might have named my ship after them, but... Next time, heads up.
Roger,
After
Captain.
all, we thought we were under attack there for a minute. Like, you can't be doing that, all right? We have enough people out here trying to kill us without you making us think you were under attack.
My apologies, Captain. My apologies.
And lifting one foot, she kind of stilt spins in place and then click-clacks away. Towards the back of the ship where you can kind of see the door to her quarters where she takes you pepper box. And the crew, some are grumbling, some are, but most of them seem to be none of them seem upset. In fact, they all seem a little, humored at what watching the elven fellow's gun taken away. The small scolding he got. And there's a few murmurs at, well, he got off easy, didn't he?
Seeing the weapon, would I have seen that before?
Probably not. They're not super common.
Okay.
Because if I remember correctly, the little bit we talked about where you come from, Yeah, no, they're really only active at all in the dwarf. Like they're starting to become more common, but the dwarven district, so like the southeastern sea, is really the only place where like personal guns are starting to be seen.
I also kind of built that one out of spare parts, so.
Yeah.
So it looks like really ramshackle. Not really ramshackle, but like
Doesn't look like a standard issue.
industrial.
It looks like a New Vegas gun.
Yep. Follow up.
Yep.
It's like a lead pipe duct tape to a paint can, duct tape to a wooden handle.
It's a little bit nicer than that. Come on, give me some credit.
Spray painted silver.
Sorry, it's not done.
Thank you.
Welded.
Thank you. Yeah. Brazed.
Tack welded.
It's not even welded, it's just brazed on. That'll hold together.
And with that, the rest of the day passes. You know, the seas are
Hold
still
on.
pretty fair.
I need to talk to him
Go ahead.
before he runs off.
I'm
What?
not anyway.
Was that thing? Did that make the noise?
My pepper box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so loud. How do you hear?
I can get used to it after a while. And I pulled 2 chunks of wax out of my ears, stick them in my pockets.
Ew. Pocket lid.
Oh, you put the things in your ears and it helps with the blood. Boom. That makes sense. I just
Beeswax.
kind of clap my hands together and I'm like, just okay.
You understand.
I'm gonna do that a lot, by the way.
Now I just see Nun shoving these fuzzy pocket lint infested wax things in his ears, and
Makes him look like he's got some growing on his ears when he's wearing them. It's
looks
nasty.
like a sloth, you know, just like green moss shit in his ears all the time.
So Nun, since you're finally meeting him,
Yes.
is it's just over 6 feet, just platinum blonde hair, just about to his shoulders, bright blue eyes, studded leather armor. He does have a short sword. Doesn't look like gets used much. She just brought a fucking hammer out. And then he has a belt with a now empty leather pouch. And then on the other side, you just see strings. You'd see a line of small metal ovalish looking things.
I forgot one thing in my character description. That on my middle finger on my left hand, I wear like a metal like claw on my finger that has 2 chains that run to a metal band around my wrist.
Kinky.
That'll come in use.
Okay.
But I do wear that. Just a little silver thing on her hand.
Okay.
So when she's holding her hands in front of her face and does the... You'll see it a lot.
The happy twinkling of the little chains.
Yep.
So, for pretty much the rest of this voyage, Nun will be sitting on a pretty open, dry spot of the deck, and he's going to be working on assembling a hunting rifle out of parts.
Okay.
Are you going to be out in the open? Can I
Go
see you
ahead.
do this?
Yeah, I'm like a big open spot on the deck that I feel like is probably the least trafficked. So I'm kind of out of the way, and I'm not in the...
You're not gonna be able to do any like firework or anything like that. So
No, just kind of assembling what
Seeing
parts
how
I
pieces
have.
fit
Yeah.
together.
what part? Did we discuss what parts you had at the moment, or?
I think I bought some stuff from the blacksmith, but I don't really remember. That was kind of my goal with working with the
I
blacksmith.
think the blacksmith had some raw components, but if I remember correctly, he didn't have any like completed components. It was stuff that you would have had to done some work, and we can say that you did a little bit of that in your 2 days. Like he gave you some free time to
That was kind
use
of the goal, was
torch.
to
All
befriend
right, give
him.
me a couple 20s then.
Advantage of them.
Just straight 20s. We're gonna retcon for the blacksmith to see if you were able to create any actual usable parts.
While you're doing that, I'll be right back.
I rolled a 15 and a 6. And my tinkering is +8. If that matters.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is that what that homebrew I gave you from forever ago?
Yeah.
What was the stipulation I put on that again?
That's just my dexterity and proficiency bonus.
What's it called?
No, and something else.
Lay down.
Yeah, because you're proficient in tinkering.
Yep.
Right? With Tinker's tools?
Yep.
Okay, so with a +8 on both of those, so that's a 13 and or a 14 and a 23.
Yes.
So the first day is mostly you just trying to figure out what you can make and using those and kind of melting what you have down to its raw components. And I'm gonna say that you probably managed with the 13 to get at least the raw components done and kind of piecemeal to where you know how much of each one you think you're gonna need, and you're a little bit of free time on day 2 because you don't have a lot of time. He actually expected you to work for the 2 days you were there, so you spent a lot of time doing that. But with the 23, I'm gonna say you definitely make headway. I don't think that you finish more than one part, but I would say that if you wanted to, you could say that you finished like a trigger and a hammer kind of deal, or at least you got the rough shape knocked out for the hammer.
That sounds good.
And like the hinge, you got the shape right, you got that down. You probably still have a lot of filing work and trim work to get it, but we're talking you're gonna have to assemble this thing piece by piece.
Okay.
And since you're kind of doing this on your own, you have a rough idea of how this is supposed to work. So yeah. So if you want to do on the boat right now, some file work to smooth out the hammer and to keep smooth out the hole so it'll spin on when you eventually make the pin for it and stuff like that, you could. And since you got 2 days to do that, give me another 2 20s.
Natural 20 and a 10.
All right, so yeah, that first day it goes really good. You
28 and an 18.
You don't even need the second day. I'm gonna say with the time you have left on that first day, you managed to sand out that, and with a small file and your stuff, you're able to smooth it out around it and get it to where you want it. You're very happy with the piece you have. So go ahead and mark down that you have a completed potential rifle hammer, a flintlock hammer, or whatever flavor you're going for with it.
Stop it, cat. Enough.
Under custom items, it says I have a bag of jewels.
Yeah, you got that from.
I have a bag of jewels? Why haven't I sold these?
Bag of jewels.
Because you gave half to Tony.
Oh.
Yeah.
Neat.
Because you got them off of the body of a bandit, I want to say, in the windmill.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's before we fell down the stairs.
Was after you fell down the stairs, I think. Maybe it was before. Yeah.
I have a hobo sack with a 5-pound bag of rice, bolts of silk, clay jars of some liquid. And you had found the chest. I don't think you told the rest of us about it.
No, no one asked. So I kept the jewels for me and Tony. Tony
Because
noticed.
Tony was the only one that rolled or Groundnut was the only one who rolled a high enough perception to notice. Let me see if I can remember how much those are worth.
Yeah, because apparently I did not put that in there.
I was going to say, did you write down how much those were?
Let me see if I wrote it in my notes. 150 gold pieces-ish. That was probably before we split it.
So yeah.
So probably about 70 gold pieces worth of jewels. Probably put that on my roll 20.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's what I found it in my notes, and yep, you're good there. All right. So as you finish, is there anything else anybody else would like to spend the day doing, or?
No, I'm just gonna be poking around.
Okay.
Making idle conversation, but nothing worth RPing.
All right. So you guys spend the rest of the day, enjoying the voyage, and night begins to fall. You make your way down. They feed you, and it's a pretty simple. It's a little bit of it's like a stew. There's some meat in it, a lot of onions, mushrooms, carrots, potatoes, that kind of thing, celery. And you make your way down to bed, and you guys are just starting to get comfortable when once again a low rumbling can be heard. Not so much a pop like earlier, but this time it's a much more natural sound. There's some thunder in the distance. And as sleep starts to come in, the storm seems to be coming closer. And can I get a Constitution roll out of everybody as the storm begins to pick up and the boat begins to toss and turn a little bit?
Constitution save or just straight
Just a
Constitution?
Constitution check.
19. Oh, I actually rolled that on D20 and not by hand.
That's okay. That makes it really easy. Oh, and ground up.
Jesus.
Ground up. Character sheet.
Tiefling is a beast.
Constitution. Oh, yeah. Okay, so all of you actually made it. So all of you managed to sleep through the storm without really any adverse effects. So good on you. And as morning comes, the sky is once again clear, and you guys have a whole nother day to spend with. And if there's anything you guys would like to do with day 2, Val, we've already talked about what you're doing. Anything anybody else wanted to do with day 2, or should we just push on?
I'll try to sneak down to the cannons again and see if anybody's there.
So Adam, you wake up very early in the first morning on the boat, and you make your way out. Give me a stealth roll.
Oy vey. Okay.
21. You managed to make your way in very carefully. You feeling very much on the top of your game, not a noise to be heard. And holy shit. As you peek your head around carefully, you're pretty sure. Give me a perception roll. All right, you peek your head around and you very carefully check from what you can see as you move out just a little bit into the cannon room, and you swivel, and you're pretty sure that you don't see anybody.
Alright, I'm gonna try to sneak over to where I saw the gunpowder.
Alright, so you managed to sneak over to where you saw the gunpowder.
Look around, still don't see anybody?
No, you still don't see anybody.
Alright, so I'm assuming it's a barrel. Is the lid on, or is it removed, or?
Yep, lid's on.
Yeah,
These are like little pony kegs of powder. They're not like great big things.
Oh, okay. How big is it?
So, to you, I'm not going to say it's like the size of a football to you, but it's probably not much bigger to somebody who's 7.5 feet tall. The pony keg is probably 2 feet tall and about as big around as it is tall.
Like a mini keg of beer.
Yeah, like.
How many of these do I see?
There's on this side. There's probably you guess around 30 at a quick glance.
I'm gonna go ahead and take one and slip it into my pack.
All right.
And then return to my room.
All right, and you make your way back to your room, seemingly unseen.
how you said that.
To invoke anxiety.
Never.
You speaking gives me anxiety.
Oh, thank you. Makes your heart race, is that what you're saying?
And in the worst way.
Well, of course, you have a fiance. It would be wrong if it made you in the
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is. Oh, that's cost.
All right, so go ahead and mark down that you have a pony keg's worth of gunpowder.
So how much would you say that weighs? Like 20 pounds? Or is it lighter?
Sure.
Okay, well then I'll just take the one that D&D gives me. It just says keg.
It says 20 pounds.
Yeah. Worth 250 gold.
All right, yeah, that works for me.
Not that I'm going to be...
Yeah, about 25 pounds. All right, yeah. So you guys, anybody else with any business they'd like to take care of today?
I would like to find the cannoneer.
All right, so you make your way back in there. And it takes you a minute, but she makes her way back through after a little bit. Let me find her. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, this lady, you know, she's wearing like black leather armor, sleeveless. She's her arms are kind of got crisscross scars as she walks in. She looks up at you. Hazel eyes, some gray flecks in there. Yes, is there something I can help you with?
You take care of the cannons for the ship, correct?
I am the ship's gunner, yes.
Do you take care of repairs and maintenance as well?
With the guns themselves, yes. Less so with the ship itself. That's more the ship's carpenter's job.
So, Phandalin.
Phandalin? Phandalin, yes.
Are you aware of any cannon producers, cannon repairs, any big shops at that port that you know about?
She gives you a humored look. You know, there's a little bit of sarcastic humor plays across her face. No, there is no such facilities in Phandalin. It is a frontier town would be a polite way of explaining what it is. Once upon a time, there probably was far more capable things that were built there, but these days, no, there wouldn't be anything like that. You might be able to purchase one, but nowhere that would make them.
Do you have any extra parts lying around?
No, the only parts I have I need for my own here in case something goes wrong. If the cannons are weak, then the Red Brand will surely run us off the seas, and it will be the life of my crew upon my life.
I figured.
I'm not okay with that.
No, I figured as much. I just figured I'd ask. Thank you.
No worries. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, I was just looking for some components.
What kind of components would that be?
Barrel, buttstocks. Trying to assemble a rifle, you see.
Oh, I see. You are trying a rifle. No, none of the parts I would have would be of any use. As you can see, these are cannons, and they're significantly larger than a rifle.
Worth a shot.
You're not wrong. Thank you for thinking, but no, I do not have any gun parts here. No, sorry.
I return to my room.
All right. She bids you farewell as you walk back. Anybody else?
No.
No, I'm good with my keg.
So the rest of the day kind of passes without incident. You find yourself, you get fed a couple times. The journey is setting into a wonderful pace. The next night goes by, and the sailing stays as smooth throughout. There's no storm. And you find yourself on the third day. You remember that she said it would take about 2 days, so you figure you'll probably arrive there shortly after noon today. Is there anything you guys would like to do for the last morning of your journey?
Not really.
I'm going to that keg I took when I'm alone. Whenever none leaves the room, I'm going to divvy it up between 5, or at least I'm going to put enough to fill 5 flasks. Then whatever's left over.
All right. Do you have flasks for that?
Oil flasks, which I'll just empty them out.
Okay.
I'm just gonna dump them on your bedroom
Just
floor.
dump. Are you doing
Next
that
to
on the
Nessie's
side
bed.
of the boat or just into
It's
the
gonna oil the floor, guys. It's fine.
I'm doing it in the room, and I'm just gonna I'm assuming, is there a chamber pot in here?
Yes.
Okay, dump it in the
Actually,
chamber.
no, there's not. The ship's bathroom is under the stairs.
Then I'm gonna dump it all on Nun's hammock. He's not using it, right?
I'm not gonna sleep there again.
Okay, so as you begin to pour the first flask of oil, you quickly realize in your head, the plan was that the hammock would absorb it all and Nun would lay down in it and get covered in oil. But these, while thick enough to support the weight of an elf, there is not a lot of absorbency here. So it kind of just starts falling through and scooping on the floor beneath.
I'm okay with this. It just looks like Nun pissed the bed.
None pisses oil.
By the time you get through the 5th one, there is quite a large oil slick underneath, taking up, probably 4 or 5 feet of floor.
I take a blanket and just lay it over the oil on the floor.
All right.
One of Nun's blankets?
No. I pack my stuff up every morning and keep it with me.
That's a bullshit.
Bullshit. None would.
All right.
He lives out of his backpack.
So you guys, you separate these 5 flasks, create quite a mess, and then kind of just hide them under a blanket, which you're pretty sure is hiding it. You don't really watch it long enough to see if any of it starts to soak up through the blanket. You just cover it, can't see it, and assume that you are good to go.
So did that use all the gunpowder in the keg, or do I still have some?
5 flasks. For for the sake of ease, I would say that probably.
Okay.
You probably have an empty keg now.
And then the keg, I'm just gonna hide it. I'm gonna put it in a corner and try to hide it somewhat, but on Nun's side of the room.
All right. So you give me give me an intelligence check.
Alright. I gotta reload. Actually, you know what? I don't have. That's just an 16.
What is going
How
on?
would you, Val?
Did we lose Val and Libby?
No, they just had some feedback on their mic. That.
Aha.
Oh, gotcha.
Just like Mike unplugged Val. So it's Val's fault.
Val is messing around like a dick.
Whoops.
Yup.
Ooh, that yup even had a period after it. She's annoyed.
She is serious.
So yeah, my intelligence roll was a 16.
A 16?
Just tie the cord
Yeah,
and then it
no,
wouldn't be a problem.
you kind of stick it in the corner there, and you kind of,
Every 5
take
seconds.
Hey,
your
feet.
blanket from the room and kind of tuck it under it and push it up, and you're fairly confident that nobody will notice it until you're probably
Now,
off.
is it all set back up?
Alright, then I'm gonna grab my stuff and walk up to the deck.
Through the mic?
All right. So the morning passes
Yep.
without incident.
Looks like
you
it.
guys enjoy one last
Yep.
meal aboard the boat before you start to notice on the horizon that just as the sun begins to climb to the zenith of its journey, there's a small dot that appears on the horizon that steadily grows larger and larger. And unlike Port Rite-a-Vision, as you all remember coming up to it, Rite-a-Vision was black, stone, jagged, and it just looked like a black lump. Where this island, even from the distance, there's the gray of the cliffs that you notice, but on top of these cliffs, there's a lot of vibrant green and yellows. And as you get closer, you notice that the cliffs, well, on the right side of the island, seem to span up hundreds of feet. They're only about half as high on the western left side of the island. And you notice that they kind of come together and they fade away into a low spot, and you can see a white yellow sand beach that leads up into a thick forested area. And as you get closer and closer,
Is that you messing with the mic?
you start to see 4 very roughly constructed docks. Like, these aren't, in comparison to the Rite-a-Vision
is
docks,
typing.
these are,
Oh,
they look like they were assembled, by people, not by like dock workers. They're rough lumber. They're lashed together with ropes. The planks aren't all together even. Like, this very much looks like something that was thrown together and has just, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And up on the beach, there's. Let me make sure I get the number right.
Where we came from, what was the place called?
Port Rite-a-Vision. Rite-a-Vision.
Okay. V-I-S-T...
Give me a second. I gotta double check the spelling on it.
RYTEVISSAN.
That.
R-Y-T-E...
Dash V-S-I... or V-I-S-S-A-N.
Visson.
Yeah, Rite-a-Vision.
Rite-a-Vision, okay. Because I had Rita Visted.
Oh, yeah, right.
Or Rita Vista is what I had. Okay, that's all I needed.
Yep.
Who is cupping the microphone?
I didn't touch it.
stop touching it.
I didn't touch it.
Touching. I'm going to slaughter your soul. Stop that. That's so loud.
And as you approach the dock, you notice one very large green tent and 2 smaller ones that are covering an abundance of crates. Like, there is no warehouse at this dock. There is just 4 corner stakes with large green canvases stretched over to sort of shelter these crates and barrels and all these goods that have been dropped off by other various boats. Currently, there's only one other boat, and it's on the far left pier from you guys. And it looks like it's been there for a couple days. Like, it's not so much lashed to the dock as it is beached. It's about half the size of the gull's wing, and the sails are loosely tied up. The flag is bound so it can't flap freely in the wind. So you have trouble identifying where it's from, and you don't see a name on the side of the ship. But it is a very rough-looking ship. It does not look well cared for. And there's probably 30 or so men scattered throughout the tents, all of whom look like they're either working or sitting around gambling, playing at cards, drinking. All of them are wearing red bandanas in some form or another. Some with their tied around their arms, others around their head, their legs, worn as a belt sash, that kind of stuff.
It's the Bloods.
And as you guys approach the dock, a couple of people make their way lazily down. They catch the ropes. But a large gray-skinned half-orc wearing a red bandana down low over one eye, so only the one is visible, swaggers his way towards the dock and kind of sits there with his thumbs tucked into his belt, one good eye towards the ship, just that cocky shit-eating grin on his face as he eyes up the gull's wing. Just regular rough-cut woolen clothes, done up a little bit nicer than, the other dock workers, but not too nice.
Are we still on the ship at this point?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
And you hear one of the crew members, the dwarf that you remember lowering the gangplank towards you. Oh, fucking hell. The Red Brand aren't even hiding that they're here anymore. Make sure you lot stay safe.
So I'm guessing that's what the red bandana means?
Yeah, I am gonna go out on a limb and say all of them definitely be a part of the Red Brand.
So they're the reason I got arrested.
You're not sure if it was the Red Man pirates that attacked or if it was another, but good money would bet that it was probably these guys.
Yeah, all I hear is pirates, so they're all the same to me. So we killing them? Can we kill them? I won't hurt them.
We'd like to point out that there were you gain a rough estimate. There's probably 30 or more.
Adam, I love your tenacity. I love your go get 'em spirit.
Well,
I feel like the numbers are not in our favor here.
I'm going to have to agree.
And you hear the click-clack as the captain makes her way up, and you kind of see her eye the whole situation, and she has a wary, I've been in this situation too many times sort of look on her face. Well, I often see that the best way to get through a situation like this is just to face it head on. So, well, hello there, sir. To whom do I owe the pleasure of speaking? Are you now the one in charge of this port? I don't see Lazar anywhere. Well, yeah, that would be right. This here is my docks now. I'm, Farad Halftooth, or Halftusk at your service. So what are you, what brings you to, the fine dock of Farad today? I am dropping off supplies for one Gruden Rockseeker, a resident of the town of Phandalin. Oh, is that so? Well, feel free to unload. We'll see that they make it to the city.
That would be my job, sir.
And he's kind of standing there at the side of the boat. He looks up at you. Oh, that's it. Be your job then. Well, who are you?
None.
None. That's a strange name, if you will. But
Be the joke there.
Why is making sure the supplies get there your job?
Because Mr. Rockseeker has been reporting back that the supplies have not been making it to him. And I was hired on to make sure that he is telling the truth.
You see him kind of consider your words, and you can see some of the dockhands laugh a little bit, but they don't seem over it. Well, you're not wrong. It has been said that a few things have definitely gone missing. But it's strange. Every time we walk these trails, nothing seems to go missing.
I want to insight check him.
Go ahead.
Wow. while this is going on, can I lean over to the captain and whisper to her, "Where is my pepper box?"
She reaches into her pocket and she hands it to you.
Thank you, good
All
captain.
right. Just kind of slides it to you. Oren, you watch him closely, and you're not. I don't want to say you're not great with people because I don't remember what we talked about, but
I'm a talker.
You're a talker, but you're kind of less experienced with the broader world. If I
The
remember
listening
correctly.
part.
Yeah.
And
I'm not very experienced with the history of people. I did change a few things, but for the most part.
You've not really heard any more about these guys except for kind of what's been said on the boat, and so you get the vibe that these Red Brand guys aren't the nicest people, but you don't really know anything about them per se, so you don't have the prejudice that some of the people who do know about them would. So you kind of, this orc doesn't seem, or this half orc doesn't seem to be trying too hard, or, seem to be lying. He seems to be at ease, and it seems like a simple statement of the fact. Adam, you and Nunn both rolled really damn good. So, you get the feeling that he's not lying to you. You get the feeling that he's not telling you the whole truth, but that he's definitely like holding something back and knows something, but you get the feeling that it's a boast, and it's an accurate boast.
I step up to the edge of the deck, my warhammer in my hand, and angled in a way to where the guy can see the emblem on my warhammer.
Okay.
So are you going to move out of the way so we can dock, or what?
We're making sure. He kind of sizes you up for a second, and kind of, that grin kind of cocks a little higher. And just, well, you see, we're tying you to the dock so you can unload without floating away. You probably want that.
Aye, but we would also prefer to unload and deliver our own product.
Well, as I've been told, so don't worry. We'll be out of your way, but I have to make sure everything's in order and that all the proper fees have been paid. And you can kind of hear the captain grumbling under her breath. Oh, so what's the fee now? With Lazar, it was, if I remember correctly, 5 gold? Well, you see, we've fallen on much rougher times since then. The fee is now 25 gold. 20! Well, it's not my money, it's Gurud's, so, And she tosses a packet. She's still grumbling over her breath, under her breath. She tosses a little pouch of coins, and he catches it and thumbs through it quick. It seems to be in order. Go ahead and lock down the gangplank. Feel free to unload your stuff, and we'll stay out of your way. And we'll stay out of your way, don't worry. And he makes his way back up. And with that, the crew lowers the gangplank, and they begin to... First, they bring up out of the grate in the middle, they raise a wagon, and they manage to get that off the boat, and then they load the wagon with various supplies. And also a ox that you guys didn't ever go find, so... They just bring all of these things up out of the hold, and...
Wait, we were supposed to find an ox?
No, but you didn't do any exploring. So.
Oh.
They told us not to be in anybody's way. I did what I was told.
But, so, they kind of lead an ox up out of this, and you're very confused because you hadn't heard it or smelled.
I looked to the captain. You had an ox below deck?
The Gull's Wing is a very flexible vessel. We are very good at getting things where they need to go. And unless your Goliath friend here was going to pull that wagon full of supplies, be happy for it, because otherwise he would have had to make a lot of trips.
That's impressive.
Aye, the Gull's Wing is one of the best. That's why we have so many enemies. She kind of click-clacks away a little bit. And it takes about an hour of unloading, and you can tell that the crew is probably working faster than they normally would. They definitely don't want to be here any longer than they have to. Well,
while the crew unloads, I'm gonna just kind of sit up on top of deck and watch Farad very, very intently.
all right. So you're keeping an eye on these guys, and the majority of them still look like they're either playing dice or throwing cards or just watching. But you give me a perception roll.
4. My perception. 4, 5, 6. That's a 7.
All right, so with your 7, you can see Farad and a couple of the people he's talking to who are watching you, but that's about all you notice. You don't see anything besides that. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. Nobody seems to be eyeing you any more than you'd expect. Groundnut's kind of posted himself up by the wagon. He doesn't seem to be uneasy, but I'm just gonna stick close to the wagon, guys, if you will.
Me too.
And so with that,
And I'll run
you're
up next
loaded.
to Grunnet.
The captain kind of approaches you guys as they're starting to untie the ropes, and well, you are a very wonderful group of passengers. Very quiet, but you mostly stayed to yourself. But hey, that was very smooth. Thank you for not getting in the way or creating too much of a mess for my people to clean up. I wish you luck, and I would advise, and she kind of lowers her voice a little bit, not to trust your back too much to these people. I'm sure that they won't openly make any moves against you, but do be careful, all right? I hope to see you again, and if we are in port, feel free to look us up.
Thank you, Captain.
And with that, she nimbly, click-clacks twice right up the gangplank, and they pull it up, and then the gull's wing is out and making its way back into the open sea. What would you guys
It's a
like
pleasure to
do?
meet you. And I'm gonna wait.
You as
Goodbye.
well. Au revoir.
Goodbye. Au revoir. So we're delivering things. That was our job.
Yeah, you're seeing that they safely get to Gruden Rockseeker in the city of Phandalin.
Gruden Rockseeker?
Yep.
Urin?
Give me a
Urin, was it?
Gundren.
Orin.
Gundren.
Gun.
Except for some reason, I keep forgetting that there's an N in it.
Gundrift?
Give me a second.
Okay.
A garden.
Gundren
Oh.
Rockseeker.
Wrote that down.
So the names and Oren, you know this one other name. The rest of you don't yet, but the other name that you know is Sildar. Make sure I get it right. Is Gundren's bodyguard by a human man by the name of Sildar Hallwinter.
Oh, hey, I spelled his name right.
And you were told that he would be here and that he would probably meet you close to the beach.
Orin?
Yes?
Whereabouts are you from?
I don't think we ever established a location.
You can name whatever you would like. We haven't talked about that though, and we probably should.
Shit.
We established where in the ocean and like what you are, but go ahead.
It was
and
like
name it.
far off in the ocean and like
Yeah, you're
fairly
from
secluded
the southern
islands.
seas, which is
Southern Sea?
Yeah, the southern seas, which is one of the more like none of the major
Less treacherous
areas are there.
Okay.
The east, the center, and the west are the three dominant, so you kind of come from a less You're from like the southern area of the sea. It's a lot less traveled. There's not as much stuff there. It's out of the way of the major shipping routes. It's, I don't want to say secluded, but it's kind of the more mysterious area of the seas in what is known of the world.
So she's from the Bermuda Triangle.
She's
Yeah,
like
kinda.
near the Bermuda Triangle. Not quite the Bermuda Triangle, but like, everybody kind of knows that whatever she decides to name that area, or if she says the Southern Seas, even if she doesn't really know it, she's from that area of the sea that the rest of you would all know, that like the stories of blood mages and shadow monsters and disappearing ships and ghosts and that stuff, that kind of area. So like you said, kind of the Bermuda Triangle, but she's not quite from the Bermuda Triangle, but close to
She's
it.
from Haiti. Down south, mysterious area. She's got a French accent.
I should have gone with the southern drawl. I'm from the southern seas. Damn it.
Should have went with a Jamaican
Because you are
accent.
from the Southern Seas does not mean that the Southern Seas is south. It is not America.
Southern seas in the northern hemisphere.
So, do you tell us you're from the Southern Seas?
Yeah, I'm coming up on the fly. From the islands of... I'll spell that.
I just narrow my eyes at you and grip my warhammer. Are you a mage?
No.
The island names wouldn't be familiar to you, so unless she says that she's like where it's from,
I would say the southern seas. Southern seas. The islands of Aravi.
so yeah.
It is... I am a long way from home.
Sort of.
Age or anything.
How
I'm really
how
easy to map.
exactly did you end up escorting this wagon?
Well,
You just kind of seem out of place with the rest of us.
traveled with traders and merchants, and we separated, and I got low on money. Cannot travel without provisions. So I found a job and I took it. And here we are.
All right, so like to put that in perspective, all right, Nun, you're from like right here. This would be the Dwarven kingdoms. Like if
I
this-
don't see
you
the
guys
world map.
aren't on the same page I am.
No, we're still on like the cityscape for Bladesport.
Yeah, you can't see
That-
the drawings that I just put on it.
I see a big X.
Blue lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the big plus sign.
Yeah. Okay.
So say that the big blue plus sign is the center. So you are from the Dwarven like kingdom is essentially like right where I just put this blue box.
Okay.
Like then there's a big landmass here, there's another big country here, and there's hundreds of miles between all of this. This is big landmass here, Tony's from down here. If I remember correctly, you, Brian, are from like over here somewhere.
That looks about right.
Misery, you're from somewhere like over here. So Kendra, like Oren's probably from somewhere like down here, but like this whole region of like this area is a little smaller than that, but is what is lovingly referred to as, the Southern Seas. If I could remember how to work this. But she's probably from down here, so she's way out in the boonies of the sea. This isn't perfect. It's just to give you guys a rough idea.
I'm kind
She's a
of
redneck
making...
with a French accent.
Yeah. Sure.
She's Cajun.
Oh yeah.
People speak French in 84 countries throughout the. Did you know Africa has a country? So you can fuck right off.
So does
Papua
Canada.
New Guinea.
Yeah, they're huge sections.
Well, yeah. But yeah, it's just like a cluster of islands. If you played The Witcher 3, I realized this after I like created all this, before I even played The
Skellige?
Witcher. Skellige
Yeah.
is basically what my islands look like.
And that works.
So picture Skellige.
I've played like 4 hours of The Witcher 3.
Oh, you
Have
so much
you
left.
ever watched Vikings?
Yeah, we watched. Yeah.
Kattegat.
Hmm?
Like where that harbor is, where Kattegat sits, that's our main city, basically. Looks. It's like it's a harbor,
I'm just drawing shapes.
forest.
I mean, you're kind of close on 2 of those.
Beats me.
Canon now.
I was gonna say you should have a picture of this. Wasn't this one of the maps I asked you if you wanted to do?
I don't know, Taryn. You're my favorite person.
No, it's okay. I'll get a couple like actual maps and get them up for you guys now that we're back on this campaign.
Yeah, maps.
Where is Griffin Head?
Griffin Head?
Yep.
You're gonna have to give me a little bit more info to go on that. I don't remember.
I have Griffin Head, Straussane, 6th biggest island.
6th biggest island?
Yep.
Is that where you
clicking?
came out and got Pikmin met Livy or met Misery?
I don't know. I also have Heron, Imperial House of Stone.
The Heron Imperial House of Stone is this place right here. That the Empire of Stone, the Heron is the sigil of the Empire of Stone, which is this landmass right here. The little South American looking one.
What landmass are we on right now?
You guys are like right here. Somewhere.
Okay, we're in.
On an island. No, I think I'd have to actually look at the rough map I have, but you guys might be up here somewhere now.
Okay.
Or over here. With as big as she made those land masses, in reality, you'd probably be like right here if I had to guess. But you're a lot farther out. Like you're in the middle of nowhere. You're equal distances from the 2 almost.
And we came from where? That central one or the?
Down here.
Okay, so we've gone.
We came from
north.
another island.
Yeah, so you guys, for one reason or another, have all ended up down here. But you started like I said, need a real map. The original part started like right here on this tiny little spick of rock out there in the middle of nowhere, and you guys have kind of gone to like right here.
Okay.
And I think Libby is from like over here somewhere. I can't remember.
I don't know. Where are you from?
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
Not somewhere. I gotta reconsult all of that. I didn't look into your guys' backgrounds nearly enough for tonight, and I apologize for that.
Livy is from northern Rutherford.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't look enough into our backgrounds for
A few
tonight.
days ride from the border of Caldora.
Yeah, that's the old map setting.
Oh, that's right. You changed all of this.
Yeah, the world exploded.
Oh.
That's essentially what happened.
I don't know if I have the new one you sent me. Oh, yeah, it's in the Discord, I think.
Yeah, no, me and you worked yours out. I can't remember where you're originally from, but you grew up in the Dwarven City. And then you you snuck out and you ended up me bumping into Livy like shortly after she started her journey, somewhere over here, and then you made your way across.
Heron's Rest.
Heron's Rest is the original
That's still the old stuff.
campaign that I started and then stopped a couple sessions into. Because I decided that world building on that level was too much work. So we moved to the island format so I could use the books, but still have a little bit of world building to do. Heron's Rest was the original starting place of the academy that you guys started
Copperhold.
in. Yeah.
I'm from Copperhold.
But all right, so you guys find yourself on a beach with that. Oren, you know that a human by the name of Sildar is supposed to be meeting you on the beach. And you are being watched by probably 30 or so red brands, and you guys find yourself very much alone.
Should we find Silda?
Who?
Who?
Silda Hobbinger. He is supposed to be here for us.
We just heard of Gundren, wasn't it?
That's his bodyguard. Silda is the bodyguard that is to meet us near the beach.
You know more than we do.
We're not
Ooh,
given
yeah.
this information.
I'm getting a little out of
Let's
French
go
there.
ahead. Huh?
No?
What?
What?
Do not interrupt me. I'm trying to give you information.
I don't really pay attention to what's going on.
To Silda.
All right, so as you give me a perception roll.
Okay.
Nope. Nope.
Ooh, there you go. So you very carefully eye around this beach, and you know that the boat arrived on time, and this is when it was expected to be there. But you do not see anybody by the description you were given of Sildar Hallwinter, or anybody who looks like they're there waiting for you. You mostly just see all of these red brand guys who are, watching you out of the corner of their eye, or they're definitely keeping an eye on you.
Do you think we should ask the it was Red Brand? Is that
Yes,
what
red brand.
Do you think we should ask the Red Brand? They know who Silda is?
Knowing groups
Don't
like
need
this,
any help.
I think we should ask these people as little as possible. I think we should take our wagon and go.
Sounds good. Do you know where Gundren is supposed to be?
You know
Would-
he's waiting for you in Phandalin.
Do I know where Phandalin is? No.
On this island.
I
But
do
that's
on
about
this
all you
island?
know. Yeah, you know that it's on the island that you're currently on, but that's about all you know.
That's what I'm saying, is where on this fucking island?
Yeah, you have no idea. You just know that it's on this island.
Where is the most heavily trafficked road leading?
You from the beach, you kind of see it all goes up into what amounts to just a single road that kind of tracks back into the jungle.
That's the way we go then. And I slap the ox on the haunches. Gently.
I was gonna say, oh my
Yeah,
god, there goes our car.
This ox, it probably doesn't react overly. It starts to plod along on its merry little way. Is anybody driving the ox though?
No.
I think the one that's good with animals should be the one to drive the ox.
Yeah, I'll drive the ox.
Yeah, one. Yes.
I'm just walking alongside the cart.
All right, give me an animal handling check, Livy, or not misery. All right, 15. So yeah, you have little trouble controlling this ox and getting it to follow you along as you go. And you guys, make your way up, and like you said, you were just guessing on you're guessing, but as you start to make your way down this road, you get the feeling that there probably isn't a lot of roads on this island. So you're pretty sure that you're on the right track. With the last look over your shoulder, you kind of watch as Farad still has his eye on you as you begin to pack up, but they don't seem to be making like they're gonna follow you or anything. They just seem to put you out of mind as you go by, and whether or not that bothers you more or puts you at more ease is up to you. All right, so with a 15, you have no problem. So you've been on the Triboy Trail for about half a day, or not half it, sorry. It's probably 3.5 hours. You're pushing into this dense forest, high green trees, a lot of. Near the beach was a lot of like palm and kind of tropical trees, but as you push farther in, you kind of notice as the forest changes and it switches from kind of like that tropical mango pineapple tree look to more, and Misery, you probably notice this more than anybody else because you're the nature person, but you notice that the terrain itself kind of changes from that sand, and everything has had a gradual upward slope. But suddenly there's dirt and there's rock, and the trees kind of switch from like the tropical to more of a hardwood northern stock sort of tree line where you got a lot of hardwoods and big, large spreading canopies and gentle, undergrowth. It's thicker, less of the trail is fairly well worn, two deep ruts that run away wagons, and it slowly works its way uphill and kind of ever seems to be wrapping towards the right, just faintly. And you guys, make your way down this, and you guys have been traveling for about 4 hours, and as you come around a bend, you spot two dead horses sprawled about 50 feet ahead of you, blocking the path. Each has several black feathered arrows sticking out of it. The wood's pressing close here, and the trail with a steep embankment and dense thickets on either side.
I'm gonna pump out a divine sense.
So you pump out your divine sense, and you don't sense any of the listed things. There's nothing undead. The horses are very dead.
I want to look around in like the tree tops and like higher in the boughs. See if I see any archers or anything hiding in the trees.
All right, give me a perception roll. 19. You. So as you are throwing your eyes around up and near the sides, you don't catch anything in the treetops, but as you're looking around, all of a sudden, you see a bush over here begin to wiggle, and another one to the left of the side of the trail move, and then on a little further down, you can actually see a goblin head poke its way around a rock that's just a little bit off the trail and look at you.
It's Gurgle.
Hello! No, it's not.
I pull the pepper box out, I point it at the direction of the goblins, and I shout movement. I don't fire yet.
You don't fire yet.
I'm gonna look in that direction. Do I see what he's looking at?
Do I not have a map for this? Oh, I'm really disappointed in myself.
I'm disappointed in you too, Taryn.
Tisk.
Oh, I do. I lied to you guys. I apologize.
What?
Whoa!
I didn't mean to do that.
So, Bam.
That would have been a nice roll, but that's not.
Wait, that's not it. Why can't I go over far enough to see this room?
Did you
Oh,
not
come on, I
get that
didn't
off?
get an actual landmass.
Ignore the kobold. There is no kobold.
Was that Kirby?
Yes. In fact, it was.
Sweet.
All right, so let me grab a couple tokens to be the dead horses.
I feel like a dirty person
Drawing a Kirby?
for drawing whatever that was.
Eventually, I want to actually make like the kind of armor that I have. Assume we're pretty much on the path. Seeing as how we have a fucking ox and a cart we have to protect.
Oh, is that you?
I'm on the path.
That you?
Yeah.
Ah! I didn't want
That's
to draw.
Brian.
Why is there not just a horse in these? Okay, so we're just gonna.
Yeah, I know their free tokens kind of suck.
So these are the dead. Oops.
Oh,
Those
the
are the two
illustrious
cats
rat
are the dead
horse.
horses in the trail.
I'm sorry, I drew on your map.
That's okay.
Oh, there we go.
And as you yell from the bushes on either side of the trail, spring 4 goblins. Ignore their crossbows.
As soon as they start towards us, I fire.
All right. Since you rolled high and beat all the one stealth by a large margin, go ahead and roll it.
Hold on, I gotta... Yeah, 6. 19.
19. Yeah, that hits.
Why do those mice have people arms?
Oh god!
6 damage.
6 damage?
6 damage.
All right. So you, with your surprise attack, I don't have a piece of paper for this. Stupid.
Really hard to see with that tablet right in my face.
All right, so you said 6 damage?
Yes.
All right, so you take aim at this goblin that isn't hiding very well as you yell this, and they begin to charge, and you fire and you hit this thing like right at the the collarbone base of the neck, and it sprays, and you just hear ah, and it looks very hurt. It's not dead, but it looks very hurt. And meanwhile, the others continue to charge towards you, and go ahead and let me pull up the initiative table. Go ahead and give me initiative. Okay, and for these guys.
Which one did I hit?
I'll tell you in just a second. All right, so you probably hit this guy right here.
All right.
So we'll give him. That is the wounded one. I don't like that mark because it doesn't actually show up. That is the wounded one. So, all right, which brings us to your turn again. Go ahead. None.
All right, I'm gonna take aim at this one over here. $11 to hit.
11?
Yeah.
That does not hit.
Okay.
So you take aim and fire. Oh, wait, I forgot one member of our wonderful party here who needs a token. Let's see what that initiative is. Very low.
Ooh.
Is one of your guys' cats meowing?
No.
No.
Mine
Okay.
isn't now, I don't think.
Oh, that's Stella.
Daughter. Not a cat.
Sounds
It's
like
your
a cat.
daughter. All right, so you swivel from this first shot that you take. You cycle the pepper box and you fire again, and this time it flies over the goblin's head as it's running. It like runs into a little dip in the ground, and where its head had been is now just nothing as the shot sails harmlessly over. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Oh, I forgot to add my +2, so that would be a 13 if that makes a difference.
Nope, still
Okay.
misses.
Then no, that's it.
All right, which brings us to you, Adam.
Finally kill things. I run up in between these two and attack the one on the right with my warhammer.
All right.
17 to hit.
17 hits. 10 damage.
And I'm going to burn a spell slot to use Divine Smite, which I gotta manually roll for.
Same one.
So an extra 8 radiant damage.
I tried to touch her. She whacked me in the butt.
All right, how would you like to do this?
I just want to blow him up like a watermelon.
All right,
Like a
so
little
as you
sunburst.
rush up towards this, you raise your mighty warhammer, and it glows with divine light. You just bring it down, and there's like this small flash of divine light and spray of mist as this thing kind of just head to the ground, and it kind of pops on both sides of the hammer as the hammer goes down, and it is very much dead.
And I don't have any bonus actions. I use all my movement, so that'll be it.
All right. Which brings us to this guy that Nun just took a shot at. He is going to pull out a short bow, and he's going to take a shot back at the elf. Does a 22 hit?
Nope, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. And so Nun, he feels the shot whip over his head. He saw what you did before. He stops. He draws back his little short bow, and with a he fires an arrow, and it strikes you in the shoulder, and it does 6 damage.
Okay.
And he kind of pumps his fist up in the air and yells a little bit in Goblin, just like, and that ends his turn.
Can we kill these things faster?
Brings us to this guy who is going to swivel, seeing this large Goliath just bring down. What color is your divine light, Brian? Or sorry.
I can choose colors.
Well, you get to choose the flavor of your magic, yes.
I guess kind of like a amethyst color.
Is there anything else about it, or like any flavor? Like, is there a specific shape, or just kind of like colored light?
No, just at the point of contact, just amethyst light just flickers on and off.
All right. So this goblin just watched your warhammer kind of glow with this dull amethyst color, and then as it smote its friend, it kind of expanded in this bright flash. It swivels, and out of fear is going to take a crossbow shot at you. But clearly he is pretty spooked by what he just witnessed. Does an 8 hit you?
Ah, so close.
So he's, just, and he just kind of snapshots this, and the arrow just whizzes off harmlessly, landing somewhere probably over here, like just way wide right. And he puts down his head and he looks a little peeved at himself, and then he kind of makes his way 1, 2, 3, 4 over here to try to put some distance. Which brings us to Orin.
I'm going to take a shot at this one
Okay.
with my crossbow. If I can find it. Does a 21 hit?
Yeah. For 6.
6 piercing.
All right, so as he's fist pumping up into the air, like, you shoot him right in the elbow. Just, and he brings down his arm and he stares towards you and gives you a really, really angry look.
Seeing that look, I'm gonna kind of bounce around the other side of wherever the cart is.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I should probably put a token up for the cart.
Well, I assume Misery is driving the cart. So it'd be like, but I want to be like at an angle so I can like look around. I can still see it.
Yeah.
A poor ox.
Here we go. This is the cart.
Okay.
Actually, because Livy's on the front, so we're just gonna consider Livy and the ox sharing the same token for the time being, or same spot.
I'm gonna be on the back side so I can peek around the back end of it.
All right. Is that gonna end your turn?
That is all I can do, I think. Yeah.
All right, which brings us to Misery.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up my crossbow. This guy's still alive, right?
Yep. That's the one that took a snapshot at Brian or at Adam and then tried to make a beeline looking like he's trying to get behind you guys.
Okay. I'm gonna take a shot at him with my crossbow.
Okay. So as he's running, he's ducking and, stumbles a little bit and trips over his own feet. He hits the ground, and as you fire, it kind of sails right over the top of him as he pushes himself back up and keeps going. Didn't quite hit this time, but maybe next time.
Do I get 2 crossbow strikes? I forgot how to play this.
Not at level 2.
Okay, but I can take a bonus action, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna... Can I take my bonus action to grab my quarterstaff and cast Shillelagh?
Yep, I'll allow it.
That's it then.
Alright. Which brings us to this poor little bastard who got shot in the clavicle. He's gonna just kind of panic and not really know what to do. He's hurt. He missed this big purple flash behind him, and he's just gonna spin around and in blind pain just lash out at the first thing he can see, which would be you, Adam.
Boo.
With his sword. Does a 20 hit?
It does.
Fear has given him strength.
And I am going to use Stone's Endurance to nullify, hopefully, all of it.
So this, go ahead and roll your Stone's Endurance.
8.
So this goblin shrieks, just, "Ah!" and he turns around and just swings this little scimitar he has, and it just, punk, hits you right in the, it's a high swing, it hits you right in the bicep in your other arm, and you just kind of look down at him, and and then you just kind of flex.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of tugging on the scimitar, like he can't really move it, and he's panicking because he realizes he didn't hurt you at all. And that's where his turn is going to end. He's just going to be tugging futilely on this scimitar, which is just stuck in you, and look panicked. Which brings us to our ox, which is panicking just a little bit because those gunshots startled it something first.
Not first.
Okay, no, it does okay. It's definitely panicking, but it's not like it's gonna back up. Not a ton, but it definitely in startled kind of goes backwards. The wagon, teeters a little bit, but it doesn't seem too bad.
Am I on the ox?
Yes, so with the ox, you're gonna move too.
Okay.
So you're now back here, and you're startled. Like, go ahead and give me an animal handling check since you're actually on it. I might be doing this wrong. I'll have to look into this, but that's how we're gonna play it for now. Yeah, you managed to keep with a 13. You managed to keep, and it was as well as it rolled. You managed to keep it from panicking too much, and you get it stopped pretty quick.
Okay.
Which brings us back around to none.
I'm gonna take my movement. I'm gonna move up to here, try to put some distance between myself and the ox. And I'm gonna take a shot at this guy down here that's running away.
You said the one that's running away, right?
Yeah, the one farthest away from me.
Okay, yep, go ahead and roll for it.
19.
19 hits.
Excuse me. Who that?
That's not a D10. I'm going the wrong way.
He is, pay no attention to him yet. He's not on the board. I just need him where I can see him.
Sweet.
Okay.
14 damage. I rolled a 10.
So as he's rushing his way over here to get away, he stumbles. Misery's crossbow sails over his head. He steps back up, and his head just kind of implodes sideways and just sprays, and he tumbles, falls, and is very dead.
It's 2 shots. 3 shots.
All right. Anything else you'd like to do?
Nope, that's it.
Which brings us to Adam.
I'm gonna grab this goblin by the throat, pick him up, and just whack him in the body with my hammer.
Like, full on whap him, or just like bump him?
Like pinata whap him.
Okay, so you're making your own pinata right now. All right, go ahead and roll an attack.
14 to hit.
Actually, he manages. In blind terror, this goblin just swings up, bends at the neck, and latches on with his arms and his legs to your forearm, and your hammer swings right underneath him, and now you have a goblin just hugging your forearm.
Well, fuck.
Just hold him up. I won't miss.
This
Bite him.
guy is dead. Yeah. What would you like to do with your bonus action?
I don't have any, so
Okay.
yeah, that'll be it.
Can I bite?
Which brings us to this man right here, who's still upset about this crossbow sticking out of his arm. And he is going to
Similar force blow.
drop his crossbow because he can't. Oh wow, what is going on? Ugh, I gritted. This did not grid well.
I think it's the setting that you have, because mine works fine.
I'm gonna have to look at that. So he makes it to about right there, and then just is angry because he can't do anything else. He's gonna try to make a very awkward bow shot with his drawback arm being all messed up. So he's gonna do it at disadvantage, and he's gonna take a shot at you, Oren. Does a 12 hit?
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, what was that?
Does a 12 hit?
No.
Nope. All right. So this goblin takes his swing and it misses, or it takes fires his bow and it sails past your head over to the left, which brings us around to your turn, Orn.
I'm gonna shoot it back.
You lift your crossbow and fire back again. Go ahead and roll.
I'm gonna glare while I do it. Very rude.
You offended me.
And You're very similar to what he just did. You shoot right over the top of him, and it sails harmlessly over his head.
Shit!
Now you're both just standing there looking at each other angrily.
Glaring. Intense eye contact. I don't blink. Staring contest. Go. Jinkabrumba! That means I don't understand in French. That's not even a lie.
Which brings us to you, Misery.
Okay, I'm gonna gently and calmly get down off the back of the ox and just march over to this guy and attack him with my shillelagh.
While you do that, I'm gonna go get a glass of water.
Give me a roll.
I'll do it.
Oof, yeah, that 22 just manages to land. It was close.
Okay.
So you calmly step up, and Howard, you just swing this shillelagh around and strike this goblin in the side of the head, because this is a rather large blow, 10 damage. It is not dead, but it is very weak on its feet. Like, it's barely standing. It looks on death's door as it looks at you, sort of panicked, looking like it might have changed its mind a little bit. It might be looking like it might want to run just a little bit. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Is there anything else that I can do attack-wise?
Not attack-wise, no.
Okay, then can I walk back to the ox and try
You will draw an attack of opportunity if you step out of its attack range. Yep.
Ooh.
What did you pick for spells?
I don't think I have anything that I can use as a bonus action. Except for shillelagh.
No.
Yeah. So... Oh, I guess that's it.
Alright, which brings us to this poor little goblin hanging on Adam's wrist, who is going to desperately just try to bite your hand. Does a 11 hit?
No.
No. So he just can't quite get his mouth down far enough to get any of your hand into it. But he doesn't quit trying. And we'll come back to the ox, which is doing much better now. Yeah, it rolled high enough that you don't got to worry about anything, and brings us back around to none.
Oh, well, fuck. People very close to both of them. Alright, I'm gonna take a shot at the one down by Misery.
Don't miss.
If I roll low enough to miss that bad, my gun misfires and I hurt myself.
Oh.
12. I missed.
You, after having calmly assessed and taken down two, this last shot, you're feeling yourself really heavy. You swivel, you take careful aim, you fire, and it kind of just splats on the ground, right in front of the goblin. You watch the dust fly. And it does not appear to have hit. Anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah. I'm gonna move to there.
All right. Brings us around to Adam.
I'm just going to slam this little dude into the ground for an unarmed strike.
All
Just
right,
like Hulk versus Loki.
Have a
Wham, 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 wham.
+7.
We have a Hulk.
22?
Oh yeah, 22 hits.
And that's 6
roll.
damage.
6 damage?
Yeah, because it's 1 plus strength modifier.
Which is, okay, 6 damage. So yeah, you
Strength
it's
modifier
trying
is
to bite at
+7.
you. You kind of just go down to one knee, you lift your arm above your head, and you just splat that thing on the ground. And it just kind of there's There's a couple crunches as it hits the ground, and then it's just a little bit of gasping, and it's dead.
All right. I'll stay here and ready myself to search the corpses.
All right, which brings us to the only one left alive, which is desperately going to pull out its little scimitar and try to take an attack hazily against the tiefling in front of it that just smacked it in the head with the shillelagh. Does a 14 hit?
Yes.
Ooh, it does damage. Ooh. So he gets real lucky here, and as he's kind of stumbling a little bit, he takes a swing, and he manages to hit you for 7 damage.
Ooh.
Hey, look at that one! Finally did damage. Lasting damage.
And that's going to end his turn, which brings us to Orin. I mean, you are naked, though. I mean, armor might help your armor class just a little bit.
Yeah, just a teens.
Going to
Put 7 and then hit remove your damage instead of just typing in -7.
I'm going to come up right next to it here,
Yep.
and I'm going to plunge my fist forward and inflict wound, which is touch
Jesus.
spell. I am anger. Oh, nat 1. Cool.
So
Why?
you watch
Fucking
this goblin.
stop.
Puts her hand
I-
away.
Go to cast a spell, sneeze, wipe your nose.
So you watch as this goblin just opens your friend from like the knee to the thigh, just like slices and she's open, and you're like, no, and you swing and just kind of misjudge how short this guy is and just kind of swing right over the top of his head. As what does the magic that you're wielding look like?
This one would be like I'd say like a bronze and gold.
Anything in specific? Like if it's the claw hand that you're attacking with, does it like
Oh,
form
yeah.
around that, or
Yeah, it like kind of comes from my middle finger
so there's
off
like
that
this,
claw.
like it kind of like makes the claw look like it elongates or something, or like it makes it look like it's on fire, or
Kind of
just
looks like
glows?
it's fire, like emitting from the claw.
All right, so this, the claw
Like
in your
it's
hand,
source
glowing
of the
bronze.
claw.
You said bronze and gold, right?
Yeah, bronze and gold.
Okay.
Do I see her?
Honestly,
cast
I
this
kind of
spell?
think I want to bitch slap it. Not a fist. I want to try to bitch slap it with that. And I obviously miss with my bitch slap, so.
One sec, just taking some notes. Yeah, so you try to like claw this thing in the face and just kind of swing over the top of it and miss. But you probably all notice the bronze glow flames that kind of come out of this metal claw that she wears in her middle finger as she swings. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
How hurt do people look?
I was gonna say,
Does anybody look? Misery looks miserable?
I don't know.
Normally.
Like physically looking miserable?
She's asking how
I'm gonna
damage.
guess that's a yes.
Oh,
It's a yes or no.
I can live. I'll live.
She could take one
I'm
more
just
hit
gonna
like that.
scream some vulgar French bullshit at this goblin.
This is bullshit!
I used to know just a string of friends. And I don't remember them. Lordo! Lordo!
All right, which brings us to you, Misery, having recently been eviscerated in the Thiel region.
Oh, I should. I'm gonna reach out and grab this thing in the face and cast poison spray.
All right. Constitution save.
Sick of this bullshit.
I'm on the other side of that thing.
So it rolled a natural 4.
That'll do it.
So you just reach out, grab this thing in the face, and the acid spray kind of just like a green mist, or
Yeah.
Poison.
oh, it is poison, isn't it? Yeah, poison spray. Anything special you want it to look like, or just
Maybe like it's wispy like vines. Nothing fancy.
you know, as you reach out and these little vine-like tendrils seem to sprout from your hand momentarily as they just unleash this spore cloud of, you know, across this, directly into this goblin's face, and that did what, 9 damage? Oh yeah, he's dead.
One full action.
He's very dead.
Is what?
Yeah, and as he and his body shakes a little bit, and then he grows still and just fall like rag dolls to the ground. His eyes roll back in his head, his body, his veins suddenly a lot darker throughout him. And he slumps to the ground, which means that he is dead. And I forgot to remove that other guy from the turn order. And he is dead. Which brings us to the end of that combat, except everybody give me a perception roll real quick.
Oh no, not quick enough.
Oh my, what the shit?
6.
I can't.
Hey.
There we go.
Let me
Oh, no
roll
shit.
stealth for him. Okay, it doesn't matter. You all see him.
Oh.
So you guys hear a startled. Yeah, no, literally, he rolled real bad on his. Well, okay, I take that back. Adam, you don't.
I don't.
I'm too busy examining the corpses.
Orn, you probably don't either. What did you say yours was? None? 6?
6. That was not good. I rolled
You guys.
a 3.
Yeah, no, I take that back. I forgot how high the stealth roll on a goblin is, or bonus on a goblin is. Yeah, no, so nobody else notices, but
Jumping around,
Misery, you
high-fiving.
see, as this happens, a goblin right here spring up out of a bush and just be haul ass. Like he uses that, and then he uses the dash action. So he makes it to about here. As he's just running, like, off in this direction. More, oh, actually, sorry, about here. He's burning to get out.
Do you point him out?
Oh yeah, I yell.
And
I
he's
fire.
not running down the path. He's running like perpendicular, like as far away as he can get.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Once she points him out.
Does a
I
22
am
hit him?
You're going to have to wait till your initiative turn, but we're almost. Oh, actually, you're up.
Yep.
Yes, 22 hits.
Is that tree right here going to be in your way?
No, it's not. There's enough room that you can get the shot through.
Sadly, that is only 4 damage. 5 damage.
All right, so you, hearing her shout, manage to spin, bring up your rifle, fire away, and it hits him high in the shoulder. It doesn't. He stumbles a little bit, but he's still moving.
Oh, there's a blood trail.
Yes, there is. And some greenish brown goblin blood squirts out, which brings us to you, Adam. Actually, did you want to use any movement?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna...
You got 30 feet.
move to there.
Okay.
Are we waiting for something?
Brian is
Adam,
considering
tell me
his
what he's
options.
Oh, I was waiting for Val to finish.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay.
Sorry.
Like,
In that I'm gonna go up here and cast command, and I'm gonna just raise my warhammer and aim it at the goblin and say approach. He's got to do a wisdom save. I think it's 13.
Your spell saves a 13.
I think no, it's a 12.
All right, he rolled a natural 17.
Well,
Let me see what that becomes. -1, so 16.
Yeah, he beats it.
All right, so you raise your hand, and that once again your hammer kind of flares with that dull amethyst energy, and you see like almost a handish projection appear at the top of his head and grip onto him lightly, and then it kind of just fades away as he shakes his head and keeps running.
Well, shit. I had 5 extra feet, so that'll be it.
All right, which brings us to Orin.
which feet on that spell? 120 feet? Yeah, we gonna try that. We gonna guiding bolt.
All right, go ahead and roll for it.
Higher.
Does a 16 hit?
Yes, it does.
15 radiant damage!
Yeah, guiding
Right,
bolt's
so
not
what
a
does
fucking
that
joke.
look like?
It is a
Looks like it's gonna fuck something up.
Probably should have kept one alive to question it.
He's entangled.
it is
Oh,
just
it's-
a
it's
spear
gonna
of
be dead now.
white light
I did.
Just a spear of white light.
with sprinkles of gold. I'm always gonna have sprinkles of gold.
So you raise
Off
your
my
hand
left hand, and I
From-
snap my middle finger, and just bam.
and this like cylinders or lance of white energy with like a gold and bronze trail behind it flies out, and it smacks this thing, and it just cartwheels, flies through the air, and it thuds to the ground, and it starts to look like it's moving a little bit, and then it just goes still.
Thank goodness something hit.
Do I see any more goblins?
You do not.
Okay.
Once I'm sure it's dead, I go back to my original corpses and dig through there below.
What do you mean once you make sure it's dead?
Like, I'm staring at it, it's not moving. Okay, I'm done here.
All right.
And I go back to the corpses.
All right. Let me consult Yield Book to see if it says anything that you might be finding.
Yeah, I'm gonna wander up. Dead ass, just over here. Start through.
Investigation of the corpses to someone.
Also, if
Good
anybody wants
investigation.
free health, I have 10.
I have to go calm the ox down before we lose everything.
Yep, so, and that will end the initiative order.
Short rest.
So what's everybody doing? Misery, you're calming the ox down.
I'm gonna just kind of keep a lookout. I'm gonna kind of like move over here to the second bend in the trail and make sure no goblins try to sneak up on us.
Okay.
I'm gonna run through these corpses down here.
Okay. And Adam's doing those ones. So Adam, you and Misery give me, or not Misery, you and Orin give me a.
I'm not a League of Legends character.
Isn't it Orin?
It's Orin, but you said Orn,
Sorry, Orin.
like
Give-
the League
Yes,
champion.
yes, I apologize. Give me an inspection or an investigation. Misery, give me
Yeah.
animal handling, and none, give me a perception.
Yeah, look at those rolls.
Hey.
Shit.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Well, the fighting's over.
All right. So Misery, you managed to calm down the ox with little effort. Like he, you know, you managed to bring him down, and pretty soon he's back to his jovial, happy bovine self. None, as you scan around, you don't see anything. You're keeping a careful eye out. Some birds flit through. You see a squirrel, but otherwise, beyond that, nothing seems to be amiss. Adam, you find nothing really. There's a couple little short bows. They've each got a really rusty scimitar. None of them seem, of those two, nobody really seems to have anything on them. Maybe a couple, like, oddly shaped rocks. One seems to have a little mud totem that appears to be the silhouette that could almost be a person, but you're not sure. Oren, you find much the same. You know, they both have their short bows that don't seem to be very high craftsmanship, rusted scimitars. One has like a little bit of like a single arm brace that looks a little too nice for it.
I take the oddly shaped rock.
Let me double check. Okay. Go ahead and mark that down. They each also both of you notice that in the quivers they have are the same black feathered arrows that you assume are in the horses, though you don't really know without looking.
I'll grab a couple of the arrows. What else did you say we found?
You just
For some reason I heard you, but I didn't
choose
misread.
to take them. There's each of them has one rusty scimitar, one short bow. It's got a whole bunch, the black feathered arrows, occasionally like a weird looking rock or maybe like a twisted root that looks a little bit. But you notice that both of them also have the same little mud figure. And unlike Adam's, both of yours has this same little mud figure. No detail, just kind of like a ball on a like tube.
Oh.
So a ball?
And actually, let me double check because I think they're supposed to be. This is the problem. I haven't read this book. I should have double checked this.
So I'm assuming these horses, they're fresh kills.
They've probably been there for a day or two at a glance.
I'm gonna harvest some meat. Just enough for dinner tonight for all of us.
Go ahead and give me a medicine roll or a survival. Take your pick, medicine or survival.
They're both zeros, so I'll do survival.
Yeah, you managed to get a good piece of meat. Maybe you left a little bit more like fur on there than you would have liked, but you do fine. Takes you a little bit to figure out where the meat on a horse is because it's different than a cow, but you managed to get a little. So go ahead and add a couple pounds of raw horse flesh. And actually, I'm gonna add this, but Adam, or not Adam, Aura, or Oren.
Orange.
On this one right here, who you've kind of gathered is probably the leader, you find a piece of cloth that has a symbol on it that you're not familiar with, but it doesn't, like, it's a nicer piece, like almost like it might have been a sigil or a crest on somebody's like armor or something.
Is it red?
And it is a small white circle with a bunch of wavy lines that forms a little sun. But the like serpentine-esque without The Mulan sword shape. There we go. The hum.
Oh.
For sun rays sticking out from it. Sorry,
Got it.
I drew a
That
complete
makes
blank
more
on what I
sense.
wanted to say
I
there.
can remember now.
And that's about it.
Well, I got dinner for tonight. I hold up the raw, dripping meat.
That's
I will not.
like the color that it's supposed to be, but you know it's close enough.
I will not be eating that.
The fire will fix it. Calm down.
I'll
Nope.
stick to my fashion.
All right. So, is there anything else you guys would like to do? You've officially looted 4 of the goblins. You've surveyed the area and don't think there's any more goblins, and the ox is calm.
Wander back over to the cart.
Can I
start
collect some
dragging
of the
the-
feathers off any of the arrows?
Did you say, can you pull the feathers off of the arrows?
Yeah, or like collect just to have the feathers.
Yeah, go ahead. You can spend a little time doing that.
Okay.
And after she's done with that, I'll drag the corpses off of the road so the ox.
The
can
horse
get through.
carcasses or the...
Yeah, the horse carcasses.
All right.
Just drag them off to the road. Or off of the road.
Sounds good.
Does Orange share the cloth with the rest of the party?
Sorry, what?
The cloth that you found with the sun symbol on it.
Oh, yeah. I grabbed that. Sorry, I'm fucking tired.
I was gonna say I was gonna let you guys finish this up and then we can call it if we need to.
Yeah, like I'm hearing what you guys are saying. Registering what's going on. Yeah. Grab that thing and bring it over. Wait for the group to collect. About. Can I like? Could I possibly recognize what? I did.
Actually, yeah, you absolutely recognize the symbol on it, and it is the stamp, or not the main stamp on the contract that you signed. The rest of you, by the way, have not yet signed a contract.
Oh, I signed a contract. Okay, good.
You actually signed a contract because you worked with one of Gruden Rockseeker's like contacts. Where these guys were hired secondhand, you were actually hired by like one of his contacts. So it wasn't the main symbol printed on there, but you recognize it as a symbol that was on it, but you're not sure as to why that symbol was on the sigil. Like Gruden's own sigil, and I might have to retcon this later, but off the top of my head, is like a hammer with a pickaxe and a shovel bisecting it behind it. And it's, you know, but you definitely remember this from being on your contract, but you're not sure why it's on your contract.
Oh, he owns the mine. That's right. Wait.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put him in the fight. I'm very sorry. About
So I figure he's just masturbating in the cart.
that. He's sleeping.
Using tea as lube.
He fell asleep. He was having some trouble sleeping on the boat, so he's just conked out in the wagon. Just on the pile of stuff. All right. So, anything you'd like to do with that information?
Well, I'm back over by the cart.
Well,
Wait for
you guys
anybody-
are out of turn order now. Like that's gone. So you guys
Okay.
can.
Yeah, after I've moved the horse carcasses off the road, I'll go back to the cart.
I found this little piece on the goblin. I recognize the symbol. It was on the contract I signed. Do you recognize it?
And a little bit of retcon for the rest of you, but you were told you would be allowed to sign the contract when you got there. So you all know of a contract, you just haven't seen it. So no fear that you will not get paid.
Is this a dwarven symbol?
You do not recognize it as a dwarven symbol.
I have no idea what it is.
Are we still going with my backstory that I grew up like near a heavy trade town?
On a lake town?
Sure. I honestly
Wait,
don't remember.
I didn't hear you, sorry.
Did she grow up near a trade town? Heavy trade town?
Yes, you grew up near a trade town.
Okay, is it anything that I would have recognized from trade?
No.
Okay.
Maybe it's something we brought up to Gundren?
All right.
Describe
That
it
would be the
again.
best idea.
And so that is an okay break point. The last thing I'm going to ask you guys to do before we break is to everybody give me one last perception roll.
Yay, something else to kill.
I don't see shit. I'm staring at this piece of cloth.
14.
All right.
Yeah.
So, none with a 14, you can't help shake the feeling that you're missing something while you're standing here. Like, you're kind of looking around, you know, you're checking the goblins, you're checking the horses, you're casting about, and you're sure you're missing something, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Misery, however, with your perception roll, you kind of like, just as you guys, because so let me make double check, but the plan here is you guys are going to head into town to talk with Gundren about the symbol.
And deliver his stuff.
And deliver the stuff?
Yeah.
Quest, yeah.
All right. So you guys are planning on going in, and you kind of just, as you say round this corner over here and are going around, you kind of glance back over and check over your shoulder, and you catch it, though nobody else seems to have. But the goblin that was dead over here is gone.
Fucker.
No.
And that is where we will take our break. And we will revisit this next time.
And I'm gonna.
Which, I don't know how busy you guys are, but doesn't have to be a whole week.
Yeah,
I've got nothing going.
I'm unemployed, so I could literally play every night.
I don't know about that.
Literally don't want to play every night. Sorry.
But we could do 2 sessions this week, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
My other one,
I'm trying to get
I don't know when it's
Fridays and
Sundays or something.
starting.
And this late start was my fault, but if we do this again, I'll try my best to make sure I can be earlier. Maybe we can have a day session where we like end at a reasonable bedtime.
Oh,
It would have to be a weekend.
It is the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is if we do a day session, it has, I still work.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I don't get time off.
Hey, you're essential,
No, I just do government work.
which makes you essential. None of us are. You should feel special.
No, technically I am essential. My shop just doesn't have enough work.
Gotcha.
We're kind of hitting a weird, because like,
Nobody's at work.
well, no, the U.S. government's working, but foreign governments are shutting down.
Especially Italy.
That takes out like a lot of my international work. And I do about three-ish hours of international trademark work a day.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
And then another one is like their states are on lockdown and they're not allowed to work home. That specific company
Yeah.
does not allow work from home due to confidentiality. So they're slowing down. But I still have to put in 40 hours a week. So unless some shit hits the fan, I literally have work, then they'll be like, okay, go have fun, go play some video games. We'll pay you for it. I'm like, okay. And I don't have to take PTO for it.
Nice.
But I do have to work from home. And I am not a fan. I packed up my desk. Like, I took my monitors and everything from my work desk.
Yeah, my mom just had to do the same thing.
You have to get a headshot.
Yeah, I don't know. Working from home doesn't sit well with me. Since I did it for over a year with my last job and it ended so poorly, it's given me a bad taste in my mouth. Just pinging me.
Yeah.
Taryn, what the fuck?
But they're kind of like it just gave you something. Aren't they adorable?
Oh my god.
I figured you could use that. And for everybody else, I don't know if other people are weird, but
I hope Jer is that kind of dad. You're laying on my pinkies. Oh my
But yeah, otherwise, good session. Sorry there wasn't as much fighting in that one. We had to, get to it.
god. This is the cutest shit. Travis can't even. He's like, I can't.
All right, I'm closing out a roll 20, so if you guys lose it, that's why.
Okay. Oh shit, I need to go fucking heart that on Twitter. Oh my god. What is my Twitter?
All right, I might reach out and talk to you guys a little bit in the next couple days so we can lock down some backstory stuff, but otherwise, it should just be business as usual.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
All right, I am going to jump games, so you guys have a good night.
Night.
Good night.
Till next time, hopefully everybody had fun.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.